Hey, how's everyone? So, Lee is experiencing some issues at home. So, I'm not sure exactly what it is, but he may not be with us this evening. But if not, we understand and hope everything's working out okay for him. And sorry, I'm running late. That's what we got tonight. Let me see. Make sure I haven't missed any communications. No. So, hey, Todd, good to see you. Ed, Michael, Dennis, Chris, Philip, Robert. See. Hey, Sebastian, good to see you. Grayson, everybody's here. All students present and accounted for, sir. So, man, it's been and there's James. It's been a busy couple of days at work, so I have been totally zonked. Have been selling a bit of honey. People coming to pick it up here. Haven't done much in the way of, I guess, anything else as far as the bees lately. Just been terribly busy at work. Yesterday, I didn't get home until after 6, which is unusual for me. Usually I'm home a little bit earlier, but yesterday was a full day. Today was a full day. Tomorrow is going to be a long day too. So we'll see. Hopefully I can get back out in the bees before this weekend. Work night, sleep, and bees. That's it. 2 more swarms caught with my lure. Randy, you're killing it over there. That's awesome. So I've already dropped and pinned the link, guys. Like I said, tonight's a little bit of a change. Usually Lee and I are here, not always right at 8 o'clock, but earlier. And I'm done grafting. I grafted a few rounds and then that was it. And I did just enough that I needed at the time, and I haven't done any more. So if I might, who knows what'll happen, but I might do some more before the end of the year. But right now I don't need them. So 2 highs to a bear last night. Oh, Mike, that sucks. So feel free to click the link and come in. James, if you got rain going on down there. Anybody? Bueller, let's not make this a short one this evening. Hey, Dennis, I got a cutout you can go do tomorrow if you want to. It's down in Sumter. And I haven't been able to get down to it. And I don't know exactly where it is in the person's house. But to be honest with you, I'm not too interested in doing it just because I got so much other stuff going on that by the time I get time off on the weekends, going to do a cutout is now I don't have any videos of it, man. The person just contacted me and 1 of 3 on the swarms. What are you doing wrong, Mad Mort? What's going on? You losing swarms or you gaining swarms? 2.5 inches of rain in the last 20. That's a good thing. Hopefully it's putting out those fires. Oh, you got jury duty. Ugh. I only have the house info and the phone number, so you'd have to give them a call because it's difficult. I already have another cutout like waiting that I already have stuff at, and the Sumter one is just kind of out there for me. So you don't have a day off? Guess nobody wants to join the chat tonight, the stream. Let me see if I can get this information. Send it real quick. Okay, so I did. I guess Spanky's doing okay. I did get a little bit of contact from Spanky, so he's doing good. Maybe he's out there right now. Let me see. Where's there it is. Let me make a quick email here. Things have really slowed down on the swarm lure front over on Amazon. Sold a couple pins today, nothing yesterday. What happened? All right, Dennis, I got your email yet. There it is. It is. She really didn't send me much info, but if you want to call her and tell her that I gave the information because of my work schedule, that I'm sure she would understand and appreciate it. I think it's in the upstairs bedroom wall, but I have not done I haven't done a FLIR, Dennis, so I don't know. And believe it or not, I don't even think I've got her name. We've just talked on the phone, and yep, I do have her name. Her first name. Her name is Kim. There you go. Sent. Dennis, it's on its way. Cleaning out the dipping tank. Man, you guys know not to do anything on Tuesday nights. It's live stream night. You guys can't have any life. That's against the rules. So I've got I do have the guy that wants me to put my honey in his store. He called again today. So it's kind of a risk. When I say that, I don't want to commit to the store because I don't know how much honey I'm going to have, right? If I commit to putting it in the store, then I don't have any honey here. If I don't commit to the store, well, then I've got all the honey, and I might have more honey than I can sell, which would mean the store would be a great play. But right now, I just can't do that. How do you price what, Mad Mort? Neither. Not my swarms. This one was 30 feet high, and I'm 50. Yeah, Mad Mort, I don't blame you on that. I'm not a big up in the tree guy either. But it's just been a crazy week. I need to get out and get in some of my colonies, but by the time I get home, I'm just wore out. But we'll check them this weekend, especially if Dennis goes to do that cutout. That'll take me off the hook for one, and that'll be a good thing. I don't know how big it is. I don't really know anything about it other than what I talked to her on the phone, and the conversation started a couple weeks ago. And I was supposed to go down Mother's Day weekend, but she never gave me her information and then called me back after Mother's Day weekend or text me back after that. So definitely reach out to her, send her a text. Well, my luck ran out yesterday. I took one sting and ended up in the ER. Oh, Matt. That sucks. Yeah, that works for me too, Dennis. I just tell them I was a police officer at one time and I'm out of jury duty too. Defense doesn't like police officers as jurors for the most part. Well, guys, this could be a very short live stream tonight. Where's Charlie? Charlie's usually out in the wings. He usually jumps right on in. And Yeah, I started up late. Hey, Brad, good to see you. Yeah, I was late tonight, guys. Lee, it wasn't Lee's fault. Lee messaged me a little bit earlier and said he wasn't. He was having some problems at home and he wasn't able to be on. So, yeah, join the club. Hey, I would like to hear your an update on your colonies, Brad. If you're, I got the Cliff Notes version from James, but I'd like to hear from you what's going on and see how you're doing and what's happening, and keep it going. Short because talking to the chat box gets old really quick, and if you're talking with somebody, it makes it go by a lot easier. I'll tell you that much. I should have in this week, if Larimore shows up, I haven't seen him yet, but his Hive butler should be in this week. What else? I already mailed out the other winner, Mike Conley stuff, so that's good to go. I should remember on my website. No, ADC, I looked at that property a couple weeks ago with Sam, and the house was just too far gone. It was too far gone to make the house wouldn't have been worth it. And then the land, they've priced it like you're going to be able to use the house, right? So 120 grand for the 3 acres and the house. I understand if the house needed repair, but needing it knocked down, right? So I either have to have the house or the price has to be drastically lower. Mine's still going pretty good right now, Michael. Matter of fact, I'm just now starting to see some of the oh my gosh, I say it all the time and I can't remember the mimosa. The mimosas are just now starting to bloom in my yard. They are blooming around, but there's a lot of what you call it going on now, mowing by the county. They're mowing down a lot of the wild stuff along the roads. So, and we've got a white flower, a little white flower that's starting to, oh, here we go. This my savior this evening. Brad, how you doing? And there's Alex, all at the same time.
Hello. Hey, everybody.
So I just got invaded from Canada like that quick.
Well, I had to dig out my camera, so.
All right, so Brad, we'll start over with you because I heard you're having a little bit of an issue in your apiary, so I wanted you to kind of go into what's happening and,
Yeah, I am. Hear me okay?
Yes, sir.
Just adjusting things. Oh, you know what? It sounded weird to me. That's because I haven't switched over to my headset. That's better. Okay.
You sound really good.
Yeah. A whole bunch of heartache and disappointment. That's what's happening in my apiary. Or that's what happened to my apiary. We probably have time, so I'll give you the whole story.
Okay. Yeah, we got plenty of time.
So bees come out, early April, and for numbers, I put, well, the numbers don't mean that much because I don't really know how many are out there now, but I put 150 or so into winter, and so they came out of winter early April, and I did my assessments. Yeah, things look pretty good. I think my loss was right around 20% or so at that point. So it wasn't low, but it was manageable. I thought, going to be okay. And because of just logistics here, if you're going to buy a larger number of queens, you need to do that beforehand. And so I had to decide what I was doing in February and buy my queens. So I laid down nearly $4,000, bought queens in February that were showing up. Actually, I just picked them up today. So that's the timeline there. And so, early April, looked at my colonies and thought, this looks good. I think we're going to be just fine. Because I was going to make 100 nukes. I had almost 50 sold already. And I thought I'm going to be just fine. Well, and I've been having a lot of poop in the hives on the fronts for sure. And I thought, what, I'm gonna check this out. And so I sampled 10 colonies, sent them away to the lab. Now I paid for 2 tests, and it cost me a lot. It cost me well over $600. And the one test I wanted was a species test. And these are both nosema tests. And so I wanted a nosema species test to confirm to me that we're not seeing nosema apis at this point. And that's correct. Every sample tested as nosema cerana. So now I know that. And then, of course, nosema infection level, spore count after that. And again, it was spore count for every colony, not an aggregate spore count. And I chose colonies almost at random, but I tried to include colonies that had lots of poop on the front and not so much poop on the front. Big colonies, small colonies, kind of a cross section, not just the good ones, not just the bad ones. The nosema infection level was pretty consistent among all 10 colonies that I sampled. And, I'm almost embarrassed to say, but I will tell you, the nosema count was around 50 million spores per bee in those samples. That's unbelievably high. Anything over, 5 million or something is high. So 10 times more high, So, all right, the lab was very, very slow. They really don't have their act together. So it took a long time to get these results.
Well, you just kind of go in queue when you send it in, right? Whatever they got, you just get at the back of the line.
Yeah, but there was nobody in queue ahead of me. It just, no, they just don't have their act together. So it's unfortunate. They're, one hand doesn't know what the other hand is doing, and I'm trying to be kind here. Not impressed.
They didn't have their shit together, is it?
Not impressed. I'm not going to use that lab again ever. Until somebody says that they've actually got their act together, because they don't. They just don't. There's another lab I can use, but it's actually in James's town. I can mail samples there, so I'll use them. Yeah. So, and again, for context, generally here we have our spring, we come out of winter, and then we have our spring dwindle, or April dwindle, they call it. And all the colonies will go downhill until about the 1st of May. And then, they'll brood during April as best they can, depending on the weather. And so then around the 1st of May, they'll start to pick up steam and start to go up again. Most of them didn't. Most of them just kind of went down the 1st of May, and they just kept going down, down, down. I had colonies, many, not just 1 or 2. I had many colonies that I had assessed. When I do my assessments, I just mark a 1, 2, 3, 4. 3 is good. 2 is a little weak. 1 is probably going to die. 4 is wow, right?
Right.
So there's a lot of 3s, which is good. It's kind of average. It's a good colony. I had a lot of colonies out there that in the last 2 to 3 weeks that were marked 3 that just died. They're dead. And that's crazy. That is just crazy. I've heard stories from 3 or 4 other beekeepers who have seen the same thing. Maybe not quite as dramatic in some cases, but they've seen the same thing, that the dwindle did not stop early May. It kept going, and these colonies just bottomed out and died. So my
did they when you did your check, did you find there was still a lot of stores in the colony that so it wasn't like a starvation issue? It was
no, there's still a lot of stores. Like they'll die with like 6 frames of honey in there. Certainly not. I rarely have a starvation issue over the winter. So I've been just, I laid down and bled a while and then got up and got back on the horse. So it's been really difficult the last couple of weeks. So I've been making nukes best I can. I've had a bunch of people help me out. I've had 2 in particular who've really helped me out a lot. When he found out that I had these 100 queens that I really can't take care of, a friend messaged me and he said, I'll buy all those queens you don't use. So that was not, like, the stress of that was gone.
Saved you some expense on that.
Big time. And so I just picked them up. I pulled 40 out of the bag and left 60 for him. And I had another friend show up here yesterday with like 12 frames of brooding bees. We split it up into pro nukes and then I put queens in those today, so God bless them.
So
I'm humbled. I talk about it, I can get emotional.
Well, after how many did you end up losing after the initial inspection that just kind of never ramped back up? They just kept going down. If you don't mind me asking, I don't want to be.
Well, I'm going to kind of generalize and take some guesses here, but so my initial winter loss was about 20%, and to date, my total loss is probably more than 60%, maybe more. And there are some that are still alive, but they probably won't amount to anything. I'm just doing what I can to get them going because I got no resources. I can't do much with them.
So even the resources you have now, you got to worry about the spores in those resources. As far as even if you were to replenish them, you wouldn't be able to use that infrastructure because of possible spore count.
Yeah, it's kind of always going to be there. It's a background. So I'm doing a bunch of work, and it's a lot of work, but I'm doing a bunch of things. One of the things I did, actually, I talked to a lot of people about this. Talked to James, and he shared something that he did when he had something wrong, and I don't remember if he said it was nosema or not, but basically he said he took his colonies. I think he said he was running about 15 colonies, a few years ago when he was doing this, and he shook packages out of these colonies. So he'd take a new box, new bottom, new honeycomb frames, like fresh drawn honeycomb, load the box with all of that, shake all of the bees and the queen into that so they've got nothing. Of course, you have to feed them then. So they just have a complete refresh on the equipment, and they've got no brood, they've got no frames, they've got nothing left over from that. And he said it is remarkable what they do. It kind of freaked me out. So I did 2 of those, and they're laying. They took them a few days to start laying, and I haven't got any cap brood out of that yet, but it should be capped here in a few days.
Well, yeah,
we'll see.
It's going to take a minute to draw a new comb, and where she even has a place to lay. But
all the comb is there, so it's all fresh honeycomb. But they've got to prep it. They've got to, because it'll have honey residue, and so they've got to clean it all and get it ready for laying. And so, judging by how long it took them to start laying, it'll be about 25 days till emergence.
Which you'll still have bee dwindle in the meanwhile.
Yeah, theoretically, for sure.
Yeah. Isn't there a medicine you can use against Well,
Yes
the
and no.
sport blank.
Yeah, Nosema. Yes and no. The antibiotic fumagillin B
Yeah, that's what I'm.
is the prescription for Nosema apis,
but not for Serrana.
and it's just kind of, in my understanding, is it's just kind of been transferred to Nosema serrana, and there's mixed results being reported on how well it works or doesn't work. But that's all I could do. So I did that. I bought, and boy, is it expensive. Bought fumagillin, did my treatment. I can't say how much good it did, but I did it anyway.
Well, the only way you would know is give it some time, and then you have to retest again, right?
Yeah, I don't know that I will, because, well, I was supposed to. There was an avenue that was supposed to do an aggregate sample on my apiary, so I should know from that post treatment test. So yeah, so I got a whack of nukes out there now. I've got, I don't know, probably 50 nukes sitting out there right now, and some of them are just used to be colonies, right? So I've been stripping things down. I've been stripping some colonies down. If there's a 10 frame box with maybe 3 seams of bees, then I'll strip that down, take everything out of there that doesn't have brood, and put all fresh comb in that. Flip it back off the bottom board, clean the bottom board up real nice. I haven't been changing the box, but maybe I should be doing that. So at least I'm changing out those frames, and this is a really big job too. Every frame I take out, every frame that was a dead out, every frame I take out to refresh comb, everything I remove goes into my melter, and I render that off, scrape the foundation off, and I'll reuse all of that, but it won't be drawn, right? And there's hundreds of frames to do, so it's going to take me a long time. Right. So that's kind of what and when I take those frames out and render them, and I empty a box, I'll scrape the box down real nice, and I'll flame it.
Kill anything that's in there.
Because Nosema spores are pretty easy to kill with, particularly with heat. You can actually kill them. I can't remember exactly now, but you can kill them as cool as like 40 C or something, which is like 100 F.
Right.
But it takes, it might take 3 or 4 days at that temperature. So you
just
could
bring them down here and park them in my apiary for a week, exactly, and carry them back home.
So that's one of the methods that they say you can do. You can take your frames without having to render them. You can set them in that hot environment, get it as hot as you can without melting the wax, and then just let them sit there for a few days, and that'll kill the Nosema spores. I'm going the extra step, and I'm just rendering it off just so everything's fresh, and then also just flaming the box with my propane torch to clean that up. So that's kind of what I've been doing. It's a lot of work.
It's a lot of work, and you're back to having to build comb.
Yep.
The ever loving, for the love of God, life cycle of the bee.
Yep.
Redrawn comb. So it is definitely a setback. And I mean, primarily, I've had a few cases where there's been, I'll say, dysentery in my yard. I can't say it's Nosema because I didn't test for Nosema.
Right.
It went away, and then they were fine. But yours is pretty much because they're pent up in the barn for 6 months.
It's a real problem here because of the length of time that they can't cleanse.
Can't cleanse, yep.
Because it does go down in the summer. Once they start getting some feed, they get some fresh syrup, and they get some nectar and whatnot. Like during the honey flow here, in about a month, when the honey flow really starts on full, it'll go way down. But then it starts to creep up again in the fall and in the winter.
Well, can you get it? And knock on wood, you can. I'm being optimistic here that you can. And I'm just going by the information that I hear how James says how prolific everything is, that they'll be able to draw that box and get the strength as well as the nectar flow is really turning on for you guys to be able to still salvage a honey crop for you.
Yeah, my honey crop is kind of gone. No, I'm not going to get much honey. But this is a reset. I got to reset this apiary. It's a disaster at this point. I'm not really worried about drawing comb. I could draw comb pretty easily in the summer, if I watch what I'm doing. As long as the bees are vigorous to go and get the nectar, and the nectar sources are,
now
prolific, which is usually pretty constant.
Now, we've also had the conversation in the past that what you guys consider a failure of honey would still be wildly successful compared
Absolutely.
to us.
Absolutely.
So,
my crops are actually a crop failure for Manitoba, but that's because I don't sit on a canola flow.
So, I mean, there's a chance that you'll still have. I mean, and I'm looking at this. This is your livelihood that we're talking about here. This is where you generate your income in your job, right? So, we had the discussion a little bit the other night about it's the same as if you were a corn farmer and couldn't yield any corn. Well, then you're in trouble, right? So, we had a lot of people putting prayers out for you the other day. So,
thank you. I've lost $30,000 in nuke sales to start with. I'll probably lose, 8,000 pounds of honey this year. It's going to be a brutal year, and it might be the first year in 9 that I actually run out of honey, because I do have honey obligations. It just kind of walks out the door by itself. I don't have to. And I don't know how to turn that off.
Well, just those two numbers you just threw out.
Yeah.
If it was here, if I lost 8,000 pounds of honey, you're talking $80,000 US.
Yeah. It's a little less here, but yeah.
So
yeah, it's up there.
And then 30,000 in nuke sales. Well, I'm not Einstein, but that sounds like about 110 grand to me.
Yeah.
So
a little less for me, but not.
Yeah, I mean, we joke about the exchange rate a little bit, but it's really not that different. I mean, it's a little bit, but not like we always,
and it's deceiving because they're both called a dollar. You don't think about that when you're talking a dollar against a euro or a dollar against a yen. You don't think about that at all. Right. But they're both called dollars, so somehow you think they should be the same. Well, they're not. It's not. Australian is a dollar too, but it's different again, right? So
right.
Just what it's called, it's kind of deceiving. It's not the dollar. It's
$8.
It's Canadian dollar, US dollar, Australian dollar, whatever it might be. So so that's kind of where things are at. And
if you put that into perspective, though, I mean, to me, and I'm sure it is to you as well, 110. I don't care if it was Japanese dollars. 110,000 Japanese dollars. That's still a lot of money. It doesn't matter what country you're in. It's all relative, right? So it's
it's all relative. It's all relative.
I mean, if you put that into perspective, that's like 3 license extracting lines.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, so it's like I can't afford 1 license extraction line. I couldn't afford to lose 3 license extraction lines.
We just signed up for this new truck that we bought. Stuff is kind of like, wow, was that ever good timing?
I'm waiting on that because I just bought a new one last week too.
I see that.
If it didn't have the bottle opener, it'd still be sitting on the lot probably.
Oh yeah.
I sent Ian a picture of the bottle opener. I said, "Hey, Ian, I bought a truck today just based on the fact that it had a bottle opener in it." And he said, what did he say? Priorities. That was his priorities. And I said, well, I only half jokingly said that, right? It actually does have a bottle opener in it. I sent him a picture. So it is just.
So I was gonna just put some context into harvest.
Paul, he doesn't sell 8,000 pounds in bulk drum. He takes it down and has it bottled, and then they come and buy it from him and in the stores. So he's not getting
I'm
bulk
selling
drum prices on it. So
And you know what? It's not that different when I figure out my inputs and all that kind of stuff. I'm really not making much more a pound than I would in a barrel. Um, it just suits my paradigm a little better to do it the way I do it. That's a lot of work, but it's just what I do. You have to choose what you do.
see, and I had somebody approach me about putting my honey in a store. They stopped at my house. And so I saw your sign. We had a guy that we were getting honey from, and he got in all the local grocery stores. So now all of his supplies going to supply the grocery stores, and the small guy is left out now. Now I don't have honey in my store because he's got to take his whole honey and send it to the grocery store chain. So he stopped here to try to get me to put my honey in his store and rent the space. Very, very similar to how James does it, and you probably do it the same way. But I'm just sitting back weighing, do I have enough? First of all, if I commit to just the one store, I probably could get away with it. But at this point in the game, I don't know how much honey I'm going to yield this year. It's too early. So I usually have
it's
about
always
another month.
It's always a little bit of stress, because I sell it all every year, and I produced more in 21 than I produced in 22, and my 21 crop lasted into 22 before I had to start packing the new crop, but most of it's packed now too.
So the rules are different, technically, but there's kind of this gray area to get around it that everybody seems to be using. So the rules here, if I sell it directly to a person that comes up and buys it, like in my yard, or if I'm selling it directly to the user, I can sell 4,800 pounds of honey. The first time I sell it to somebody, like if I sold it to the store, if I charged them $6 and they charged $8, well, then I have to have a full-blown ag or inspection from the food service people. However, if I'm renting that space in the store and paying for that store, and they're collecting the money and only getting a commission for allowing me to have my display there, technically I'm selling it directly to the customer. So that's the kind of fine line that you got to kind of.
There's that kind of stuff everywhere. Our rules are a little different, but they're the spirit of the law is the same. Just to make sure the customer gets some assurance of a quality product. They're trying to make sure the customer deals with the producer so that they have that relationship and they can rely on that. When my honey sits on a store shelf, they don't have that. So therefore the federal regulations stand in for me on the shelf. The customer can see that it's federally packed to federal regulation standards. So then they can say, okay, this is probably safe for me to. I mean, customers don't look at that stuff; they don't care. But as far as the regulators are concerned, that's what they want to make sure.
It only takes one sick guy to ruin the whole thing for everybody, right?
Yeah. I don't know if there's ever been a recall on a jar of honey though.
So with that, evidently the guy that was selling was quite a bit larger than my apiary, where the guy had about 6 foot of shelf space. I sell 2 sizes. I sell this size and a 1.5 pound size. That's what I've been selling. But now if I go in the store, now I'm looking at, well, maybe I need another smaller size. So I've got to buy more jars, more labels. It brings a whole different dynamic to it. And I'm willing to take the gamble, but I'm not willing to take a loss, right? I'm not going to take an L. That's not, this is my turning my franchise around year, right? It's the rebuilding year, the reset, like you just said. So the first thing I don't want to do on my reset is make more honey and then lose money by having to pay rent for shelf space. So if I do put it in there, I'm going to try to negotiate the size of the space down. to where the rent is more feasible for the amount of product that I can put on the shelf. And yep, I can bring you honey, but I can bring you maybe a 1 foot display by about 4 shelves, right? As compared to 6 foot of shelf space on your thing there. So we'll see what happens with that. But I'm just
So part of the reset story I didn't mention about the nukes that I had promised people. So I've spent the last week sourcing nukes from people locally to buy for the customers who were expecting nukes this year, and most of them, I found some pretty good deals, and I found some good 10 here and 15 there, that kind of stuff. And but some of them I'm actually taking a hit. I'm paying more for the nuke than the customer's paying me. So it hurts a little bit that way. But it's all about the customer getting what they were promised, right? I said,
right.
yeah, you're going to get a nuke, and this is what it's going to cost. So I got to take it on the chin a little bit that way and make sure that happens.
The thing is that then it's your name, right? It's your name for next year and the year after and the year after that you're paying that extra
too.
$5 for or something like that.
That's a small community too. You start being the guy who's not reliable or got crappy products or is a bear to deal with, and you don't stand long. And speaking about bears, see the segue there, right? Speaking about bears, we kind of got that problem. Well, we kind of made it go away, I think. Not like I wanted to. I had conservation here, but they didn't catch it in their trap, so they took the trap away. But the new and improved fence has either kept him out or convinced him to mind his manners when he was in. So I'm pretty sure it's kept him out.
Well, good.
Yeah, I'm going to establish my second apiary this year, and the land it's going to be on has cattle, so I had to buy an electric fence. And that made a pretty, I'm not a big producer. I have 13 hives.
Yep.
So that make quite a bit of a dent in my wallet, just the fence.
Yeah. When you compare that, I don't know what nukes are selling for in your area, but you compare it to the price of 1 or 2 nukes that could get damaged and lost. It's it's not quite as bad.
Yeah. I know in the long term it's going to be a lot more money, but it's in the short term. I got, because I'm still starting out, so I put a lot more in than I get out. It's getting better because I have more hives. But it's at least it's fun. I love beekeeping.
Cattle are a little bit easier. You can do cattle with 1 strand. Because they don't crouch down, crawl under it, or they don't jump over it or anything like that. They pretty much just walk around. So you can do cattle with 1 strand. But the wire isn't the expensive part, especially around 13 hives. So you can do 5 strands for hardly any more money than you could do 1.
Yeah, but I plan on expanding to about 40 hives, so I might just make the enclosure large enough for 40.
I completely recommend that. Yeah. I see people making a fence, and the fence is 4 feet from the hives and stuff, and I'm thinking, well, where do you work? How do you get your stuff in here?
How would you recommend? What distance would you recommend I place it from the hive? Say there's two double rows, or
so your ass doesn't hit it when you work in the colony.
That's a good point.
That's this guy.
Okay, 5 feet, 5 or 6 feet.
Yeah. Well, you see mine here at my hives, and then that yellow post is the fence there.
I'll put it full screen so I see better.
So that's probably between 6 and 8 feet, and it's usually not a problem. But when I'm in there working, the fence is not energized. So if I run into it, if I step over it or grab it or happen to touch it, it's not a problem. So there's that. Make sure you make yourself a gate too. I see people making fences and they don't make a gate. And they don't.
Yeah, about the hooks.
Yeah.
Hey, while we got 41 people on here, I'm going to do a special for tonight only, till midnight tonight on the website. If you order anything off my website, I'm going to give you free shipping using the code. Actually, I'll just paste it in the chat. free ship 23.
I'm gonna have to go order some stuff.
Well, I don't have that much stuff, so
That's okay. If you're gonna ship it to me for free.
Yeah, it'll cost me for all the product to send it to Canada. But that's for until midnight tonight, guys. So it's starting to get to the end of the swarm lure season. I got that in the beginning of the honey season. So I've got some honey rustler over here boxed up, the only place you can get it. I've got the Apis pins. I got a shit ton of queen marking pins. I've still got about 6 of the Saracel mite check cups in there. So go to town, guys.
So Russell says, don't touch that fence when it's hot. I heard it could knock you on your butt. I actually touched the other one. The controller that I was using for the last few years is a Patriot controller. It's a good one, and it's good power too. It's 2 joules output, and when I tested it, it was only about 2,500 volts, which is kind of low for a fencer. But I touched that thing, and boy, I should have had the video on, because that would have made good content. And did I ever jump? Because I was wet from about 10 inches up my shoes and my pants, so I had a good ground. Well, so you remember, that's 2 joules and about 2,500 volts. My new controller is 8 joules and 10,000 volts. So yeah, I don't want to touch that at all. It'd probably kill me.
It's like having a pacemaker. If you ever start having a heart attack, just hit the fence one time and shock yourself back to existence.
Speaking, I can do it. But this second yard will allow me to go to 30 hives this year, and I'll try and I can triple, but it's I don't want to overtax my skill because I'm still starting out. So I'll try doubling instead. So 60 hives next year, then 120 hives once they're like fully mature. I can probably leave my job. It might be risky, so a part-time job for winter, and I can work full-time summer on bees.
So if you need 60 to quit your job, I
100,
recommend 100 to quit.
100, 120.
So from business experience, you need 150 for the insurance. If something goes bad, you got a little.
Yeah, I know. That's why I mentioned a winter job. Just
where are you, Alex?
Quebec.
Quebec,
near Saint Jerome, north of Montreal.
You don't hear the French accent?
Well, people have accents all over, right?
Well, I've tried to get rid of the accent as much as I can. I hate having an accent when I speak, but I don't get to speak English a lot over here. Both my brothers speak English. Well, that's about it. Everybody else here speaks French, so it's hard to get practice. I understand it perfectly, but as you heard earlier, I sometimes.
So you think in French and speak in English?
Yeah, and that usually comes out as a garbled mess.
Yeah, that can be hard. I was in a shopping mall in Quebec City one time, years and years ago, and I went up to this counter. I forget, there was food. It was a food court. I wanted something, and they had pictures and they had the numbers, right? So I walked up and the girl looked at me over the counter, and I said, I'd like number 2. And she says, "Oh, you speak English? I don't get to speak English to anybody." And she just wouldn't shut up. It was really funny.
She's getting her practice.
Yeah. I'm from Alberta, and I don't get to speak English when I.
That's funny. Oh my goodness. So, Alex, how's your bees doing?
They're doing great. There's one hive. I thought she was turning drone layer because one half of the frame was completely covered in drones. But it looks like it's not the case. I'm keeping an eye on her, but she's my oldest queen, and she's going to get the hive tool test as soon as I make more queens. She's a 2020 queen, so she might not be drone layer yet, but it's going to come soon. I've been monitoring the size of the cells, because like a whole half of a frame covered in drone brood, it caught me off guard.
I've seen sometimes when I've had, let's say last year I had a double deep, right? And the top box where they made bigger cells to put honey in. But next year I wasn't paying attention. So I dropped that in the bottom box. Well, no matter what she lays, it's going to be a drone in that cell, right?
Yeah.
So it's like you just created that drone laying situation, not even realizing it.
That might be it too.
Yeah.
Because she's an extraordinary queen. She survived 3 years.
I was going to mention that, Alex, that sometimes when that happens, you have to suspect the comb too. If the comb is a bit goofy, a lot of times I've noticed that when you start with wax foundation, they'll draw that lobe of comb, and then they chew all the wax off so that they can repurpose it into comb. And then when they draw more, it's all drones on the corners. And so stuff like that happens. And then that's the reason I don't like wax foundation, because, I'm still a new beekeeper. And when I see that, I may get the impression that you may be getting, to say, oh, there's something wrong with my queen, when it's actually just this foundation that they've chewed up and then made drone cells. That's why I like the story frames. Yeah, okay. They can still do it to a certain extent on plastic, but not nearly as dramatic.
Yeah, well, it's still half a frame. That's why I was worried. Like, I'm not
it's a bit much for plastic.
So,
yeah.
Well, it looks like she's still fine, but I'm still gonna replace her. She has descendants. I've bred from those colonies. Last year, 3 out of 5 survived, and I went up to 15. Out of those 15, 13 survived, and I killed one. It was weak, and I gave it a 3 gallon of food, so they got raided and killed. My fault. So out of those, I have 12 hives now that are alive. So I'm hoping to go back up to 30, and then so on and so forth.
Yeah. So I've got about 3 that I think I want to breed from, and 2 of them are 20s. They're 20 queens. And I was working them yesterday, and I noticed there's one there, and it's not just going crazy, but she's still laying and she's still maintaining a nest. It's a 2019 queen, and I'm thinking, well, I want to get some daughters off of that. And it came from my mentor as a cell, so it's kind of a collaborative project. I got some cells from Ian in 2019, so. That's one of I think that's the last one.
That's impressive.
So 19.
So now we've talked about it before. Instead of dispatching a hive like that, taking her and putting her in a nuke, and just
if you've got equipment, why not?
I do have. I've built a bunch of nukes because it's a whole lot cheaper, about $6 to build one instead of $25 for a pro nuke or $45 for a wooden one. So I decided to. I had those I had from last year, but since I'm gonna get more hives, I bought a sheet of plywood, and I got, with the leftovers from the previous work, I built 8 5-frame nukes that I'll be able to use. I also have one of those nice double nukes pre-made, double nukes. I was planning on setting that one up as a resource hive. I kind of like what Michael Palmer does.
We need to mark this down on the calendar about how you saying how cheap it is to build boxes, because when you get up to that 100, all of a sudden you're going to be like, I don't have time to make another 100 boxes. Now you're in my zone where you're like, where can I find boxes the cheapest that's going to last me the longest? And
if I had the money, I'd just go for the pro nukes. They're $25 each, and you just could buy stacks of them. It's super easy.
Yeah, they're good. They're good. I'm a big fan, as you know. But as far as running them, running them through honey flow is a little goofy, because they've got too much space beside the outside frames,
and they're really fat.
So it's a little bit not the greatest that way. But as far as I've got a ton of them out there. So part of this again, back to the whole story, I keep remembering little tidbits, was that when I bought my 100 queens, I spoke to the bee supply for 100 pro nukes to put them in. So now I've got a whole skid of pro nukes sitting in the corner, but I've been using them up when I'm making these nukes that I've been putting these queens in. So they're going to good use, but I've got stacks of them out there now.
Now the
At
one,
least they're not completely wasted. You'll be able to use them in the future. But
Oh
I
yeah,
know.
absolutely. And one of my very favorite things about them is they nest, so they're pretty easy to store. And I see Ian there. Yeah, sorry I missed you today, Ian.
well, with the bet, it's not a bad part because you are generating income from your nukes, but the flip side of that is you could actually use those nukes to help build your apiary back
Well,
this
that's
year.
exactly what I'm doing. Yeah, because I ran out. I had to go. I had, I don't know, I had 20 of them or something in my shed, and I filled them up, but then we had to stop making splits because I didn't have any more. We could have kept making splits because I got some of my little wooden 4-framers that I used before. But I said, I'm just going to go to the store and get that order that I've already placed, bring
Right.
those in, and then keep going that way.
And I was able to take some of the nukes that I had this year, and after a few weeks of them building up in the pro nuke, going ahead and splitting off the pro nuke and making another one. Now they're weaker, and will they make it? Won't they make it? Don't know, but give them the old college try, and if they don't, we'll just merge them back with the colony.
These are going to be I'm going to be doing a lot of equalizing this year. I'm going to have to do that. Just take all of my brood from my apiary and just make sure the brood is distributed throughout everybody. Hey, here's a question for everybody. I had something happen that just kind of was something new, and I wasn't sure what was going on, but I have a theory about what happened. I'm working this hive, and the one next door, I look down and there's a little ball of bees sitting in front of this hive. It's actually sitting in front of a pro nuke that I had put together. And of course, a little ball of bees on the ground means
queen in there.
And sure there was. So I picked up the queen, and she was an unmarked queen, which is not unheard of in my apiary, but a lot of my queens are marked. And so I caught her in my little catcher, and I just set her aside while I worked this hive and pondered that. Like, where did this queen come from, and what's she doing on the ground there? And my theory is she came out of the pro nuke that she was sitting next to or in front of. And what I had done is I had introduced that queen a week ago, maybe more, almost 2 weeks ago maybe. And she was laying and she was getting along just fine. But the little nuke that she was in was really weak. It just didn't have much going on at all. So I was working all the nukes, and I found one that actually had a nice frame of brood and bees. It wasn't a monster, but it was just nice, So I took it over and I slid it into that nuke and buttoned it up. And I'm wondering, and if maybe somebody can tell me if this happens, did they chase her out of that hive? Did that frame?
I'm the new beekeeper here. I can't answer.
So that, like, maybe somebody in the
they
comments
just took it over.
Like,
I've seen that happen.
I think there was maybe at least as many bees on that frame as what they had. So I'm thinking they maybe chased her out.
I've seen that happen before, but I've really had it happen with a virgin queen coming back and just kind of lose her way and land close to where she was supposed to go, and then.
Right.
But if she was already mated, they probably I assume that if you put that other frame in there, they probably ran her out for whatever reason.
Yeah, that's why I make markings in front of all my nukes.
Yeah.
I bought some sealing wax, and I just make random patterns in front of all my wooden nukes.
Did so you ended up? Did you cage her back and introduce her back to the colony?
Yeah, I caged her up and I put her back in there. I think she's still in the cage though, so I have to go back and look a couple days. I don't know.
It's flip the coin to see if she's going to make it or not. At least they didn't kill her. I mean, you saved her before she was dead, type of deal.
Well, see, and I didn't really go through it, so I think she came from that hive.
So there might be a queen in there.
So maybe she's in there with somebody else. I don't know. I've been having a lot of, and I found another one. I was working out there putting some queens into nukes, and my wife comes out and she says, "So there's a little ball of bees on the ground." I thought, "Oh, not another one," but it was right out in the open. It wasn't near a hive, which was really weird.
Huh? Like she just took off and landed on the ground, and bees covered her up.
I have a question for Brad. That hive that I thought might have with the old queen, I gave her a frame of eggs just to see what they do with it, and it looks like they took out all the old eggs, and God knows where they are. But the queen came back and laid around the where they were, like it's
really
where where the eggs of the old hive, the other hive were. It's now an empty half circle, and around it, it's filled with eggs from the old queen. I have never seen that before.
I wonder if they cannibalized the eggs that were in there, and they just hadn't gotten back to polishing the cells again before she could start laying back in it.
Maybe, I don't know. It's the weirdest thing I've seen so far.
Because they will cannibalize anything they can't take care of, right? So, like,
but there's the same amount of eggs now, except around where the old eggs were. It's weird.
Yeah. I can't answer that one.
Let me see. Could they not kill her? And no, they could starve her out. They could not take care of her in a cage.
Sure, they can.
But typically, what I've seen is, even when I've had a queen, I kind of broke the rules last year when I was banking some queens. I had a double deep. I took the center frames out. I put the whole orange tray full of queens right on top of the brood, and nurse bees just came up and covered them up. And everyone will tell you, "Oh, you got to put a queen excluder down." I didn't put one down, and they lasted just fine. So I guess it just depends. I mean, they can tell if something's wrong with a queen that we can't tell, right? Or something like that. But
well, yeah, I think they can, and I also believe that sometimes they're wrong. But right, because you know, in instances where you open a hive and you pull out a frame, and then suddenly, they ball the queen and they kill her. It's like, were they right? I don't think they were right. They got freaked out about something, and I think they made the wrong choice. So it's just it's things that instigate them to do things. It's
so I just get to the point, and I don't know, maybe this is more of the commercial thought process, but I don't give a colony too many attempts at requeening. If I make a colony and let's say it's a walkaway, or I give them a queen and they don't accept her and they kill her, my next step is I give them a frame of eggs and let them make their own. And if that don't happen, then I merge them back together and make a new split to put in that box.
Shaky shake.
Yep, that's it. And just start it over again. And that's just me, and that's something that I think I'm learning as I go. It's not so much of a, I have a propensity to not want to squish queens.
Me too, man. I have such a hard time with that.
And it's like I just see $40 that I'm just smashing, right?
Well, I see like 100 eggs a day is what I see. It's like, okay, you can do it. Lay a few more eggs.
Hey, if you think about it, if she was a good queen, like one of those old queens that you're saying, you could technically graft 100 queens off of her.
Sure.
So
just keep her laying, and that's my hope with this 2019. I don't know how long Ian's been in here, but Ian, you're listening. I've got a 2019. Those cells I got from you in 2019. I've got one still going here, so I want to breed off of that.
You see, James, not me. I pinch her off if she's not performing.
He's a meanie.
So I'm the same way. I try to hold on till the detriment of the colony almost. That's how long that I've
Well, okay, so yes, and that's where we have to, because the queen is one resource in that colony, and the bees are another resource. The brood is another resource. The feed and the pollen is another resource. The frames, the box, the equipment. So you can't let the whole thing collapse just because the
you're
queen is
trying to
maybe
save
getting a
money.
little something. So that's where you were mentioning earlier about the resource nuke. Get a little nuke. I get these little 4-framers. They're kind of ideal for it. They're easy to carry around. They don't take up much space. Stick that old queen in there on a frame. If she pumps out 500 eggs a day or 100 eggs a day or whatever, then once or twice even for that season, you go over there and you steal that brood and you boost something else with it, or you make a nuke with it, or you help make a nuke with it or something like that. I'm
Right.
all for that. But
Or they could
I'm
even
not
get
a
to a
fan of
point to
letting it.
where they just supersede her in that small colony, and you haven't sacrificed your big colony.
Possibly, but they don't have the resources to produce a quality queen. Is
Right.
is my comment on that. So as far as having that unit going with all those resources and saying, "Oh, I just don't have the heart to kill a queen," well, you're killing the colony, because that colony is going to fall apart. So you need to, it's like It's like driving your car with a flat tire. You can drive your car with a flat tire, but you drive it far enough, you're going to need to fix more than the tire, right?
Right.
The whole system is going to collapse. So if you change that tire, then Bob's your uncle. You're on your way.
Right.
And maybe you put the old tire in the trunk and you can take it to the shop and you have it fixed, and maybe it'll be a spare or something like that old queen. So you got to protect the momentum of the colony. And don't let your fear of squishing the queen compromise that. But you can use that if you have the equipment, if you have the luxury of equipment.
I
Yeah,
like
but
that analogy, Brad.
Analogy.
Makes sense. Yep. That's Lynn. For the breeder.
I'll probably do that. Like put her in one of the resource nuke. I might replace her like with one of her daughters, just in case, because I'm hesitant. Like she's slower than the other hives, the other queens. Like she's lagging behind, so may as well breed another queen, or like another series of queen from her, and then once they're successfully mated, pinch her off and replace with one of her daughter. Because there's 2 queens, maybe 3. I want to breed from. They have like an excellent start. Like the hives are boiling away. They're already drawing comb, like well in advance of the other hives. So there's like I have 3 prime candidates for breeding. So I might just do one strip of each queen, off of each queen. So I get like the 3 lines I like.
Absolutely. Diversity is hugely important. Don't forget the drones. Make sure you produce lots of good
Well, I'll
drones.
have drones. Like I said, I have like a full frame
Yeah.
about to pop.
Yeah.
So
Do you guys do a spring mite treatment there? I mean I used Apivar in the spring here.
I used Apivar, and when Apivar ends, I usually use OAV right after. Like I remove the strips and I give them a blast, maybe 2 of OAV. So 2 treatments every spring and fall. And I'm gonna start diversifying next year. I think in the spring I'll use I forget the name. Sorry,
The Apigard.
Apigard, like the one that like Bruce's bee tested, and he removed the white paper.
Oh, that's Formic
Formic
Pro.
acid.
Formic Pro.
Yeah, Formic Pro. I'm probably going to start alternating spring with Formic Pro, fall with Apivar, and every time the treatment ends, I blast them with OAV.
Okay.
Just kill as many phoretic mites.
Pro, I've never used it here because of our temperature swings so crazy. It could be cool enough to use it today, and tomorrow it could be over the threshold. So I haven't used it here. Some people do. I haven't. But from what I understand, Formic Pro is one of the only ones that actually penetrate the cappings to get the mites that are in the cells. So
that might be better to use in fall instead of spring.
It's a good one for spring and summer because there's brood present. OAV is not very effective when there's brood present because it only kills for maybe a couple of days, and so it doesn't get anything that's in the cells at all.
I was talking about Formic Pro, if it's better to use in fall or spring.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't. Well, I don't know. Around here, it's a little too cool in the fall to use it. If it's not warm enough, it doesn't gas off properly.
Okay.
So you got kind of that fine.
Yeah.
So my original idea was probably for the best.
I think daytime highs over 10C is what it states on the label. So, depending on how late, if I'm saying, well, I should use it in October, maybe not going to be warm enough in October to use it.
Yeah, I treat in October here as well. Yeah. So
OAV is your ticket, I think, there, because you're probably feeding too and packing them out, so they're getting pretty low on brood at that time.
Yeah, in fall, yes, it's the temperature is slightly milder than from the prairies over here. Our spring is a little earlier, and the fall it gets cold a little later.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I thought that's why wow, I'm having a hard time speaking. I'm sorry. That's why I decided to combine. Well, not combine, but make a quick follow up of OAV after the main treatment. Because as soon as the Apivar treatment ends, it's pretty late in fall. There's less brood, so it increases the effectiveness of the OAV.
Yes, it does. It does. See, through October here, I've got no brood at all. By the middle of October, 0. It's 10 frames of syrup in that hive. And so OAV is the ticket. Then it's just boom. It works really well. But that's kind of late. I've always done that, but I have to step that up and start treating earlier in, Labor Day kind of thing.
Yeah, and that ProVap, I bought the ProVap, and that tool is so much better because no need to bring a car next to the hives to power the goddamn thing.
You got it on you got the battery operated one?
Yes.
Oh, the instant VAP.
Yes, instant VAP. That's it.
Yeah. People I've talked to really like those. Yeah.
Yeah,
it's a really good device.
Yeah.
I got myself a 9 amp hour battery, so I can treat like something like 70 or 80 hives, which is well over what I have.
Is that right? That many? Wow, that's awesome.
Yes, because from what I've heard is the first amp hour is used to warm the thing up. Then it's about 1 amp hour per 10 hive.
Okay. Yeah, I've got a 9. I've got a 9 amp battery too for my tools. I just bought a cordless string trimmer, so I use my 9 on that. And
I got myself an air blower, and it came with a 9 amp battery.
Right.
So I can use that one battery for both devices.
I've still got the ProVap 110. I spent $500 on it 4 or 5 years ago, and I'm like, I'm gonna ride that pony till it falls dead.
Yeah. Mine's still going.
I lucked out, and I got one of those Jono's Easy Vape.
Oh yeah.
Those were like 145, maybe 200 Canadian. My God, that thing works very good.
It's only a vicious rumor that he doesn't make them anymore. So from I think it was Michael Buck says that he's got a Jono's and that Jono still
still makes them. That's good.
Still makes them, yeah. So I think maybe with all these the new models that are coming out, you know, I don't know. I like shiny toys, you know that, but I like dull green too. So I just kind of you know, I just pull my truck up there and I've got a power inverter that's hooked to the battery, and I just plug it right into my truck.
Yeah.
My current apiary, if it rains, it turns into a muddy swamp. My car got stuck twice last summer.
Oh wow.
Yeah, because it's it's when they clear out for a field, they just usually pull all the rock in one place, and now it's overgrown with trees, and
Oh yeah.
there's like a nice C-shaped clearing in it, perfect, and it faces south. Like
Okay.
the site is wonderful, and there's basswood. It makes an insane amount of nectar.
Look what James forgot
Like
when he was
each
down
hive, that's a nice try. Each hive can draw and fill 2 supers at that place. It's crazy.
Did you
I-
get yours
But
laid up?
it's in the middle of a field, and getting there is a pain in the ass.
I hear you. I hear you.
You didn't get yours to light up, Brad?
I didn't even look at it. It's sitting on top of the cabinet here, and I think what might have happened, Bob, is just because of the way that is, maybe in shipping it kind of settled and something pushed the button for a
Killed
week.
the batteries on it. But
So you're having a giveaway of James's truck tonight too? Is that what I heard?
no, I got to pack it up, and I, spend $1,000 to send it to him. You gonna fill that truck with honey? I do have some honey.
It's a honey
honey
delivery.
already.
I used to fill those bottles, Bob. I used to buy them from
These
across
right
the
here?
line. Yeah, yeah. They're really popular.
They, a lot of people like the glass. I like the glass, but the weight of this, the shipping, on shipping the glass container compared to the squeeze bottle.
I just buy because I don't have a squeeze bottle. Everything I sell is glass, so I just bought a squeeze bottle. They're really popular, but they're expensive.
I get these from Gamber Container out of Pennsylvania. 321 to a case. Cost me 97 US, so it's like 30 something cents a bottle.
And the big problem, well, the big downside to me is I can't sell them retail because they don't hold 500 grams.
Oh, I gotcha.
They'll top out about 460 or something.
Yeah,
because they're a pound. It's 454 for a pound, and I have to get 500. I have to get 500 grams in it if I'm going to retail it.
See, the metric system's biting you in the ass now, isn't it? Huh? But I do like these because they have the seal on them and all that. And
yeah, I like that self-sealing cap.
Speaking of the metric system, Bob, if you look in the dictionary, the definition of an inch is in centimeters.
That's how an inch is defined.
Yeah,
that's funny. But if these start to crystallize, it becomes a bear to decrystallize them in the plastic.
I've melted those in a lot, and
what in a warming cabinet or
in my oven, actually.
In your oven?
Yeah. I put them on a cookie sheet and put them in the oven. And it takes hours. I don't make it very hot, but it takes hours, and I've never had the plastic have a problem in the oven.
I think my oven will only go down. The lowest setting on it's like 180 degrees Fahrenheit.
Yeah, it's a bit warm. So, you look at about 150 or something, I think.
So what I've been doing is I'll take any bottles that start to crystallize and I'll throw them in my chicken egg incubator.
Right.
And crank that bad boy up to about 100 degrees, right around 100 degrees, and just leave it in there.
Yeah.
And it seems to work. Is that a U.S. inch? It's got to be a Canadian inch if it's defined in centimeters. What's it say, like 2 or 3 centimeters per an inch?
2.5 or something.
2.54.
1 inch. Yep, about 2.5.
4.
Yep. You know exactly.
I know exactly.
These so labels, that's the other thing. I was just printing them from Avery, and they were costing me about 14 cents for the label a piece, right? So I'd buy the Avery labels, put them in my inkjet printer, print them all out, and it was costing me about 14 cents for the label. And then I didn't ever calculate the ink and, oh, this one didn't print right. We throw that one out, right? So I never calculated that way, but I can go to the same people you print and buy them by the 1,000 for 19 cents a piece, I think. So it's probably
yeah.
about, it's probably better just to do that and not worry about it.
I pay 20, 25 cents by, I don't know if I buy 500 or something, less if there's 1,000, but I'm paying 20, 25 cents a label for my jars.
Yeah.
They're a big label though. They're like 3-inch by 10-inch label.
Yeah, I'm at the stage where I use my inkjet and I buy those sticky sheets and I print them out. Then I have to use scissors to cut them out.
Oh, see, the ones I've got are
laser labels,
pre-printed.
They're called
pre-cut.
They're called laser labels, Alex. Get some laser labels. They're all segmented on the thing, and they're in Avery, like Bob was saying. And you go on their website, you tell it what everyone has a number. It's a 4-digit number, I think, usually, and you tell it what number label you have, and then it'll give you the template, and you can tell it what you want to put on there, and then it'll produce you a PDF that then you can save, and you can just print that to that Avery label sheet, and it'll print each label perfectly on there. Then they're already cut. I'm sure not as cheap as the one that maybe you're using, but
I was buying them on
cheap, but I have to cut them out with scissors, and my label is an oval.
Yeah, mine's an oval. The one I was using, that might change this year because you know what? It's my company. I can do what I want to.
You can.
I can change it however I want to. Let's see. I can tell you the exact number of the one I was using because last ones I ordered, I went to Staples and bought some, but I can get them off of Amazon cheaper than I can buy them. I'll have to go back a good while.
I could give I've found a site called Vistaprint, and
I've used them quite a bit.
Yeah, but for it to be worthwhile, you got to buy like 500, 1,000.
Yeah,
then the
You'll
price.
use them eventually.
Yeah, I know, but I had like 25 gallons last year, and I still have 15 left. That's the part I have the most difficult time with is finding buyers. I'm not very good at the marketing part of beekeeping. Like bees, I learned fast, and I learned by myself using videos like the ones you guys make. I had no mentor. I face planted on my first year, lost everything, but it had a silver lining. The guys, the company that sold me the hives, the nukes on the first year, they illegally imported nukes that were infested with small hive beetle.
Yes, they did.
Yeah, you know about which company I'm talking about, right?
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Since I had the knowledge, but not the practice how to put it. I didn't know how to put it in practice yet. I didn't give my bees enough space, so they kept swarming and swarming and swarming. By fall, they swarmed themselves dead. So I just dumped all the bees, saved the comb, and it got rid of the small hive beetle.
Yeah.
So it was a good silver lining, I'd say.
The label I used for the first several years is, of course, it's in inches. It's 2 inches by 3 1/3 inches. It's a 22/820, Alex, and they have them right now on Amazon for it's 80 labels to a pack for $11.20, 14 cents per label.
That's pretty good. Could you link it, please? That would be
for you.
Because half of it just went in one here and out the other.
For you, anything.
That's
that number, that 4-digit number, is what you need.
All right, I'll drop it over in the chat here. There it is. That's a link to the Amazon thing.
Let's see.
So that's what I was using. But it's 14 cents. So is it worth a nickel more to not burn the ink and everything and just have them delivered within a week to my house? That's the...
I bought this continuous ink system that I still have to install, but you can that way you can buy bulk ink like in larger bottles. So
Right.
I was
it
going to say
depends, I would
that
say.
in my case, like buying bigger lots of labels is great. You save money, except I seem to want to change my artwork every year or less.
Yeah, that's my thing too. So
Every
I got to
time I
really
buy
get a
labels, it's
design
like,
to
oh, can we just change this one thing?
like,
And then it's another setup fee and everything.
well, see, that's the good thing with Uprint, uprinting.com. You design it yourself, right? So it's kind of like the Apiary in that aspect. And then once you create it, they go through and say, is this acceptable as far as their system? And if it is, they print it and send it to you. So you don't have to,
well,
and there's no setup on it, right? So it's just
every time I change, like if I have my printer print this, the same label I had them print last time, then there's no setup fee. But if I change the artwork, then there's a setup fee to change the artwork.
Even, we misspelled honey. So we have to change the U in honey to an O in honey.
But they always proof it and send it to me and say, "Are you sure?"
Yeah. And you're like, of course I'm sure.
And then realize, don't.
So I think it was Gunline that asked about my logo. I ordered my little guy, my label, from Fiverr.
Oh, Fiverr. Yeah, I'm aware of them.
And Fiverr, Fiverr.com. And they've got a bunch of freelance guys and the prices vary. You can get as expensive as you want or as cheap as you want. My swarm lure label, that's the same guy. So once I paid for the artwork, they send me the artwork and I can use it because I paid for it any way I want to. So with the swarm rustler, it's the same guy that in the same background that the guy created, but the honey rustler, if you see, that looks like capped honey. You probably can't tell, but it looks like capped honey when you look at it. And all that I did myself. And when I made my label template, I just made it how I want it. And then I printed the labels out. So, so that Fiverr, I mean, I think the guy that actually did the artwork for me was in Sri Lanka or somewhere. I don't care where he's at. He's got a skill. I need it. And it was cheap and I bought it. So I think it cost me $75 or something like that. You'll find specials, people doing stuff, and it's all kinds of price range. So I'll put it in there. It's Fiverr.com, Fiverr, and I mean, you can get anything made you want to, pretty much in there. Some of them are better than others. You got to look at their little portfolios to see, that their artwork doesn't look like you just went to the local elementary school and had the kindergarten draw you up. Unless that's what you want. I'm just saying, because
I don't know if there's anything wrong with that.
That might be an interesting thing. Just looks like somebody drew a Crayola drawing on there. That might, hey, it's totally up to what you want. And they'll give you chances to change stuff or blurry.
Yeah, my camera won't adjust
For
some reason.
Behind it. Put something behind it, make it bigger. Yeah, just wait, give it a moment.
Let's try something.
Not working.
Now it shows the HUD. I can't get it to focus. Maybe if it's larger.
Yeah, that would be better. Show it up, put it up there. No, closer.
Closer?
To the camera.
And doesn't work. I don't know. Maybe the auto adjust. I just dug it out of my bag. I've messed with the
honey, man.
Yeah, that's that honey. Wow, I want the HUD to go.
No, see, that looks perfect. Hold on. Don't do anything. Oh, well, look perfect to my old eyes.
No, it's blurry. I can't get it to adjust. That's so
But
strange.
it looks similar to like the dirt rooster bee, almost with
Yeah,
the hexagon.
so frustrating. Maybe if
Hey,
I did.
don't you work for a company that like does computer stuff? You know, I'm not
No,
calling you out
I
or
test
nothing.
video games.
There
Oh,
you
there
go.
you go.
Perfect. Wait, is that
Yeah,
French? It is in French.
French and English. Let me place it. Well, the HUD is going to take a while to go away, but the logo was given to me as a gift from my brother. He paid an artist to have it made for me.
And
What's
that's the
the
moon and the sun?
That's a moon and a bee because Lagrange points in astronomy are basically places in space where gravity balances out, and you can place satellites there. There's a lot of use for those places. And since I like astronomy as well as beekeeping, I thought I'd put it in there somewhere. If you
That's buckwheat, isn't it?
yes, this honey was given to me from one of my uncles.
Have you tasted it? Buckwheat?
Yeah, it tastes a lot like buckwheat. Ah, there you go. The HUD's gone.
Looks good.
But yeah, this logo was a gift, and it took like a few attempts, but she got something. She got something like I really liked within just a few tries.
But I mean, you can be very creative on your labels. What you want to do. I mean, it's got to have certain information, obviously, but
I'm
you
blurry.
can be as creative as you want to on the labels. Like, and I don't have somebody ordered a case of honey from me. It's the first person that ever ordered like 12 bottles, and they ordered it online, and it was another YouTuber. So I made them their own special label that I printed out myself, and just so something a little bit extra for them, right? Because it was for their use and not for resale. And they thought it was the neatest thing ever, you know. And of course, they talked about it on their YouTube channel and everything. So it worked out.
Like it's really subtle, but there's like 5 points which represents the 5 Lagrangian points in astronomy, and I couldn't get it to like look nice in the actual logo, so she just added 5 dots around the text of Lagrange bees. So it's really really subtle, and somebody that doesn't know astronomy will never notice it, but I thought it was like a really nice touch.
Let's see if I can find this video. I think it was the thumbnail. And I was actually, it was the first time I was using there it is, my pneumatic bottling valve. How can I do this without actually playing the video here?
Take a screenshot.
Oh, you can take a screenshot, but you can't focus your damn camera. What are you trying to be, a wise guy now? No, I'm just kidding. I'm just poking fun, Alex. So,
my whole family is like that. They poking at each other.
There.
So I don't mind at all.
So this is a kind of a short. Well, for me, it's short video. Where's the? Oh, it won't show me the thumbnail, but I'll show you the label at some point. Let me get to it. There it is. All right, so that was a label that he was a Marine, U.S. Marine, right? And his channel was what was it called? He changed his name, but it was Hard Luck was the beginning of it, and so I just called it Hard Luck Honey. Oh, Hard Luck Survival. That's it. Sorry, it's right on the screen. Read, Bob, read. And so I've got my little logo here, right? It's got the U.S. flag with the Marine Corps logo and then his name on it. But I printed it out myself, and you can see definitely 2 different shades of honey there, right? 2 different batches, 2 different a fall honey and a spring honey. So, but I did that for him just specifically because he ordered a whole case, and I thought it was, took me 10 minutes to do the artwork for him, so it was no time to do with
but
Avery.
it's little things like that that get you more clients because they appreciate it.
Well, if you think about it, though, let's say you've got somebody that's trying to do wedding gifts, right? You could make a specific wedding gift type of label just for that event type of thing. And if you're printing it out yourself, then it's, easier.
Is that glossy paper for those labels?
That's the ones that I just showed you for 14 cents a piece.
Okay.
That I used my inkjet printer and printed out.
Because the one I use where I have to cut them out, it's like the normal paper with one side that's sticky. So it doesn't take to water really well.
Google Ads helps you turn curiosity into customers who are interested in what your business has to offer. Now you can reach people based on what they're curious about. Google Ads turn curiosity into
trying to show you the
ads.google.com.
And some of you have seen, I don't think Brad's seen it. Brad, you got a pneumatic valve on your
smarter
No,
faster.
You take it to somebody else.
With Wix, you can edit your meta tags page by page or all in one go.
Can you hear the ad really?
Modify your URL.
Yeah.
Well, I have my channel muted on my side, so I don't hear my YouTube
demonstrate
at all.
the valve. So I'm gonna click this
You
on
see my
and let
mess
it
kitchen? There's my compressor.
pressurize up.
And now you're hearing music probably. How about that? Can you hear it now?
Oh my God.
Yes, that's better.
Okay, that's gone
Okay,
now.
so that's the pneumatic. That's the pneumatic bottling valve that I've got right there.
Oh, I see.
That goes right on the tank. So you just step on a foot pedal, it opens the valve up and lets the honey flow in.
That's
of
nice.
course, you got to be. This was the first time I ever used it, so I was still getting the touch of the pedal there, right? So if you don't stop, boop, there you go.
Oh, way too much.
Overflow.
Whoa, that's close.
I've got it more down now to where I know to click, and the funny thing is, the further you hold it away from there, yep, it's thinner on the stream, but then the more that's got to fall from the jar, so you got to kind of time it. But
oh yeah, you got to allow for the stuff that's in the column.
So then you just clip, and I think I overfilled this one really bad because I'm like, oh, that's just not quite enough. Nope, that one's better. But oh yeah, here it is. Boop, I click it too hard.
Oh, why are you filling that
Boop.
more? It's full.
Too much. Yeah, see, I was learning. That's my learning curve with the bottling tank.
Okay, well, tough learning. You're going to get this one right.
Well, I don't know about all that, but we eventually do get it.
What kind of honey is that?
That was my fall honey, so that's mostly goldenrod.
It looks like motor oil.
Yeah,
and you know it's funny because when you look at my honey table, it's either dark or it's light.
Yeah.
And very rarely do I get an in-between color. So when people come, I always have to explain, well, why is this one dark? Why is that one light? And then which one do you want? They don't know because all they're used to is what they find in the grocery store, right?
Yeah.
Which is which you could barely call a honey.
Yeah. So it's,
see, I could caveat that. My honey's in the grocery store, so let's not get carried away.
Well, yeah, but
I'm talking about the generic brand of honey that's probably imported from China.
I know what you mean.
But our local brands here, I mean, very few of us, because of the rules, are actually in grocery stores. That's too much in that one. So now I've got the little scale thing to fill. But with that machine right there, I can fill, and I have filled 8 cases of 12 in about 30 minutes. When I've got enough honey in there and I don't have to tip the tank or anything. So it's
I don't fill containers. I haven't done it in years.
Well, you've got the you got somebody that bottles it for you though, right?
Yeah. Well, and that's part of my government regulations is to use a certified bottler.
And I've got pints in the floor. So that's what my kitchen always looks like, a second honey house. There's my old extractor back here in the corner that I gave to Dennis for their bee club up there. But that's that's the Lyson 18-gallon heated bottling tank. But as far as the valve, that's the pneumatic air valve that you can buy from them. I think it's $435 for the valve. And I liked it because I don't have to hold the gate. Well, you can't even see me. Let me just close that down and stop sharing. But I don't have to put my hand in one bottle and then use the honey gate or the one, I can use a foot.
That's what I have to do.
Then I can grab the cap while I'm holding the bottle and spin it on, set it over there, and just keep doing like that. So it's a little bit easier.
The way I bottle is I have a scale under. I transfer my honey into a 5-gallon bucket that has a gate, and then I just open the gate, get it up to weight, close the gate, clean it up, get another bottle.
Well, you saw last year I bought the scale and automatic bottle filler with the gears on the side of it.
Richard Knowles one?
I don't know if it's the same as Richard Knowles. I haven't seen his, but it's a scale and it's got a gear pump on it, and it weighs the jar. You tear it out with the jar. You give it a target weight. So if the jar is, I don't know, we'll say 23 grams, because it is in metric. So if it's 23 gram jar, just the glass, then I'll set the target weight for like 22 grams, and I'll put the target weight on what I want the finished product to be, like how much I'm going to put in there. And then when you set it on there, once the scale hits that number, it stops and it fills up.
What I saw on Richard's video is very similar to what you're talking about. There's a table that rotates and just drags the bottles. The bottle stops when it's under the spigot. It dumps the right amount of honey.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's the one I got. I got one. Well, it's similar. It's like that.
What's the brand name? Is it Swinty or Swint something?
I don't know. Mine is Chininti. Mine's from China.
Okay, it's a knockoff.
Well, I'm the more I look at beekeeping supplies, the more I think they're all knockoffs. And I'm going to say this in all kindness to everybody that might be listening. Like plastic frames, they may say Pureco or Acorn or whatever, but I believe most of that is purchased from China in bulk. And even when you look at the Chinese websites, it says, if you order over this amount, we'll put your name on it. We'll emboss your name on the top of it. So, So that's my belief. And until somebody shows me different, whether it's Hilco extractors or Pureco frames or Acorn frames, and I'll even say Premier Foundation, I'm sure they're not manufacturing that themselves. They're buying it from somewhere else, and they're getting their logo put on it.
I would say you're absolutely right. This stuff is all made in China. Now, it doesn't necessarily mean it's all the same, because they'll build whatever you want. So there may be differences between the brands, but absolutely, there's very little of this stuff made domestically now.
And
kind of sad.
Well, it is
very sad.
It's there's a lot of marketing that goes out there that says we do this and we do that, but some of it you got to kind of read between the lines, if you will, because even like I threw out Hilco's name on there. I'm not saying the product's bad. I don't know. People seem to like it, but what I will say is when you look at the site, it doesn't say it's made in America. It says designed and assembled in America.
Right.
And anybody that's bought an extractor, what is assembling an extractor? Putting the legs on it?
I think the extractor you have, we both have the Lyson 30 frame, is made
strapped to the pallet. So, but with that being said, you can see that same Lyson automatic steam uncapper with the tank, just like you see on Better Beef for Lyson. You can see the same exact thing over on Alibaba made in China for $2,600 compared to the $5,600 that license is selling it for. So,
yes, but don't think that they're guaranteed going to be the same thing, because for one, there's no respect of patents in China.
No, not at all.
It doesn't happen. And you can have something that looks, maybe is exactly the same. However,
the quality will be down.
all the bearings and the welds and all of this kind of stuff that they use is
cheaper.
Garbage, perhaps. So, it may, oh, look, that's exactly the same. Well, maybe not necessarily.
Right. So it's one of those your own DYOR. Do your own research.
China has a lot of Tesla knockoffs, and they have a huge problem of cars, electric cars, just bursting into flame randomly.
Yep.
In China, it's pretty bad because they don't care about quality control as much.
And that's why you go to buy a battery for something, some kind of a specialty battery for some tool or device or whatever, and you can get all kinds of Chinese knockoff batteries for that. I wouldn't buy one of those for all the tea in China. I don't know if that works, but
it's a lot of tea.
It's a lot of tea, but that batteries, and I will not, because I want a battery that's been through the certification process in my home country.
Right.
Yeah,
if it hasn't, it's going to burn my house down.
Right.
Yeah, whenever I try to buy local, whether it's beekeeping or not. Then if I have no choice, I'll go buy Chinese stuff.
Well,
but I do try to put at least some effort in trying buying, like, made in Canada first, then maybe made in USA.
Well, the guy who makes the thing that you're using is also the guy you're trying to convince to buy domestic honey, right? You're trying to say, oh, that Chinese honey, that's garbage. You don't want to buy that. You should buy honey from me. Well, why would I buy a hive tool from China instead of from the guy next door who makes hive tools?
Well, yeah, that's the whole thing. To some degree, what I think with American-made stuff, like, I'm not saying Maxant, Dadant, any of these companies are, well, obviously the quality is better, but to me, then is it 2 times better, right? Is it double better or triple better when it comes to the price? And in some instances, yeah, maybe, maybe a Cowan line is.
I don't really think of it that way. It's kind of, when you have a system that works, and you have a system whereas I can buy a product from somebody down the road or somebody in my country, and then they buy product from me, and it goes back and forth, then there's value there.
And incentive.
Problem comes in when you enter the economy of a different country, and there's got to be incentives for some countries to produce products below cost, just to have some kind of change in the global economy, and so that they can maybe attract more manufacturing from certain countries and all this kind of stuff. So it's not just whether it's that much better, because sometimes it's not, because
Right.
sometimes the domestic manufacturer has to cheapen the product enough so they can compete with the, I'll say, overseas or offshore, because it's not always China, but it usually is. And it's kind of, to me, it's kind of like, if it is a superior product, then what the crap costs doesn't matter, because it's crap. It
Right.
doesn't matter that it's called a smoker. It's $20, and I think, wow, a Dayton smoker is like $65. The $20 smoker doesn't exist in my world, because it's garbage. It's like, I might as well go and buy a bag of garbage for $20, or go buy a $65 Dayton smoker.
Right.
That's what I'm doing. So it's not just, oh, well, I could get one for $20. Well, you could, but it's junk. It's
Yeah, it's just gonna like break at the welds. The welds are horrible on those
terrible.
Things.
Well,
So,
as far as the products, and this goes back to, I don't know, like let's say plastic frames. I use plastic frames. Brad, you probably don't use plastic frames. You might.
I have lots of plastic frames.
So I was a wood guy, right? I was a wood guy with foundationless, just like my mentor had, with the string, with the fishing string, which I was fine with. And then when I had to go buy that second round, right? I bought a bunch of boxes. I had to buy that second round, a big influx of frames. And I was like, oh, wait a minute. I didn't calculate that cost into my equipment expansion. And the price was so different. So I started getting the frames, and I didn't like stringing them up with the lines. So I was like, well, let me just get the plastic acorn foundation. That'll work. And I went to wood with plastic. And that works fine. But then it got to the point, well, if I'm using acorn foundation and I like that, and now then I kind of swapped to, well, now, why am I spending the extra for the wood frame that the bees don't really care about? If they're using the foundation, then let me just get the acorn frame. And that's kind of how I stepped down to get the plastic, and I'm like, oh, and it's cheaper, so it just worked out better.
There is justification to use whatever you want to use, and we all have our reasons. I have a whole laundry list, just like you just said, on why I like to use right cell plastic foundation in a wooden frame, and we can go on, and
same here.
I'm happy to share those reasons, but it doesn't mean that you're wrong for using plastic. It's absolutely not the case.
Right.
I also prefer wooden frames with plastic foundation, but they're so much pricier. At the moment, I can't justify buying those, so I go for plastic.
Right. So that's what really, when you start out and you got 3-4 hives, okay, it's not that bad if I got to get $200 worth of frames. But then you go and you're like, well, you know what? I need 50 honey supers, and now you're talking 500 frames. Well, now instead of 200, I'm talking about when you're starting up, not when you're established and got a bunch of honey sales and everything, but when you're
right where
up,
I am right now.
Yeah. So you're at that point, and then for me, it was, I'm trying to get as many frames as I can for the budget that I have to do it in. And, everybody, there'll be an argument. Well, my bees don't like plastic. And
about my second year or so, I think it was my second year, I had a lot of colonies, and I was looking toward honey flow and thinking, oh my goodness, I not only need a ton of frames, I need them right away. Buddy and I found a sideliner selling out, and he had boxes and boxes and boxes and boxes of brand new plastic, like one-piece plastic frames. And so we bought them out. I think I paid $2 a frame or something for those.
That's good.
At the time. And so, it was a good price, and they were ready to go. Right. So most of my plastic frames came from that influx. And I've been trying to get rid of them because there's certain things that I don't care for about them. But it doesn't mean that I'm right and somebody else is wrong. There's just some things that I don't care for about them. So I've been trying to weed them out of my operation. One of the big deal killers for me was that the plastic doesn't want to go through my Cowan automatic uncapper very well. The wood goes through there nicely, and the plastics almost always screw up. So
and see, that's what I've noticed.
In those things,
I noticed it last year more. But every time you change your frame size, when you have an automatic setup, you then have to reset up your uncapper, right? So with mine, even though it's a tabletop steam uncapper, the frames are narrower, or they're thicker, or they're deep, or a medium, or a shallow, some people use. But every time you do that, you have to readjust those blades on there. So it's, from what I understand, with those automatic uncappers, it's the same thing.
My old Cowan, it is a finicky old thing, and I've just barely got it dialed in so that it'll actually feed wood 90% of the time, kind of thing. I still got to babysit it, and but the plastics will screw up probably 80% of the time.
Doesn't going 9 frames in your honey super help? since it makes the
Yeah,
wax
it
thicker?
does not. That's not where it matters. Where it matters is where it's a chain feed, and the
Okay.
chain feeds it toward, and then it drops down into the
Yeah, I know.
where the knives are, and it's that dropping down system where it feeds into that
Okay.
is where it messes up, because the geometry is a little different on the plastics, and I yeah. That's okay. I don't mind. There's other things that I don't really care for about the plastics, so I decided, you know what, I'm just going to go wood. I know the family who produces the wood frames here. I go out and see them, at least once a year, and so they're made 2 hours from where I live, and like I assemble them. I buy parts from them, and then I assemble them myself over the winter, whatnot. My wife builds lots of frames for me. So I like the wood frames.
Oh, I like the wood too. It's like by far it's easier to handle. It's like when you pry the frames apart, it works better than plastic. But for
I,
me, I can't afford it right
I
now.
like the plastic. The one thing I like about the plastic is the bees don't seem to propolis between the frame end bars as much. The wooden ones, they'll stick propolis in there, propolis and wax between those end bars. You always got to clean those off. The plastic ones stay a lot more clean than
Uh,
the wood.
I think it's because those end bars are hollow,
I think
so
so, because they have like a
it
knife
gets
edge.
pressed in.
Yeah, yeah.
The what Dennis is saying about the burr comb on top, I don't know that it has to do with the being shorter, Dennis, as it does that it's been sprayed with wax too. I mean, I get some burr comb on the top. I just scrape it off. I mean,
I don't see any difference between my wood and my plastic for burr comb on the top.
and
But another nice thing about the plastic is if you have, like you were talking, Alex, about those double fives, you got a 10 frame box, you put a divider and you put 5 frames on each side. Well, plastic frames are a little tiny bit narrower than wooden frames in my experience. And so they fit into those double fives a little
I
nicer
noticed.
because those are very tight, those double fives. So, that's one nice thing about the plastics.
Pureco has a sale on right now. So spend $300, get $25 off, and I think if you spend over a certain amount, you get free shipping there. Especially if you're on the West Coast, because they're in California, your shipping will probably be less if you did have to pay shipping. But they've got a 10-pack of medium double waxed frames for $2.89 a piece, so $28.99 for 10 medium frames. They got a 57 pack. 57. I don't know why they did 57, but 57 pack of medium wood frames, double waxed with foundation in them for $3.82 a piece. They've got my beloved Lyson 30 frame extractor for $100 off, $18.75 for it.
And that extractor is so much fun.
Yeah, it's a good extractor. I like it. I
went from a 2-framer tangential to a 30-frame radial with that licensed extractor. And dear God, I did in 3 hours the work that
he did his whole apiary in 3 hours.
What's your cycle time on that, Alex?
Huh?
Your cycle time. How long do you spin that?
I think it's a pre-programmed, so I haven't timed it precisely.
It runs 15 minutes a cycle.
10-15 minutes.
Yeah, it's 15 minutes, but it ramps up. So if you have it on max speed, it slowly ramps itself up.
Yeah, you can set the percentage of the speed, but the cycle is automatic. So you just set the speed, press start, 15 minutes, and it's done.
I run an old 33 frame Kelly, and I got to spin it a lot longer than that because I don't think it likely spins as fast as your license.
I usually run mine at about 60% because I don't have it bolted to the floor.
Yeah.
And 15 minutes never get it balanced correctly.
Yeah,
so
I spent a ton of money on a really nice frame, and that's bolted to my concrete floor, so I can start in high gear. She starts top end. It goes to high right away.
If
I'm still spinning a long time.
If I get a spot to where I know this is where it's going to end up perfect. If I, I'll tell you, the only thing I don't like about it, while we're talking about equipment, I love the extractor, but what I don't like about it is that somebody in there, they must have been 420 when they designed these things, because the honey gate to let the honey out is on one side, but instead of, okay, I don't know if everyone else does it differently than me, but my gate is always facing the front, like me. So I put the bucket there and I lift it up. But then the control panel, if I do that, is around to the back.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't you put that on the side?
That's
or
ridiculous.
On the front?
No, it's ridiculous. It's just people designing things they've never used. Is what that is.
But you know what? I haven't looked at it. I might be able to loosen those bolts and shift the whole thing around to where it makes sense for me. But I haven't.
Add wire to so the control box can reach the motor.
And it also comes with a 12-volt connection.
Yeah.
If you're gonna take your extractor out to your bee yard and extract honey, if you were that daring, you just take it right out there and hook it up to your truck there and spin away. And what else do they have on sale over here? They've got Formic Pro 20 strips for $59.
I think I'm gonna have to say goodnight, guys.
Yeah, we're getting ready to cut off here too. Thanks, Brad. Hope things get better with your apiary there. I'm sure they will.
Well,
yeah,
I hope so too. Working at it. And,
it's in the best hands it could be.
Have you thought of I don't know what you think about those sorts of thing, but maybe at Patreon, setting up a Patreon, see if people can help you out.
Yeah. We'll see.
Just a suggestion.
Yeah, thank you for that.
But
have a good night.
I have. I'll just leave you with this. One of the other things I want to try, and I don't really like to buy into too much snake oil, but there actually are some scientific papers written on the effects of thyme oil on nosema, thymol on nosema. So I'm looking at a way to integrate some of that. See if I can make a dent.
I've heard Don, the fat beekeeper or something, say tea tree oil is good against nosema, I think.
Yeah.
I don't know how true that is, but
I haven't read any papers on that, but I've read some on however you want to say that, thyme oil. Is that
link to my website? Okay.
Thymol is the treatment, the Varroa treatment made out of thyme oil. So
that's what I thought. Yeah, it might have similar effects though, like treat your mites and your nosema at the same time.
worst case, like buy a bottle of that thyme oil, buy a bottle of tea tree oil, and test it out for yourself. It's not that expensive.
Yeah, it's just having the time and energy to do it.
Yeah.
So Ziggy Bees, thank you very much. I appreciate the well wishes. Yeah, Hive Alive has thyme oil in it, so I'll maybe, I don't know, try some of that or so. I haven't decided. I'm looking for different sources of it and different products that have it in. There's a product called Nosavit, and I don't know if anybody's used that. I don't know what's in it. I don't know if it has thyme oil in it or not. But
they probably won't tell you.
And no, they don't. There's no ingredients on it. But it's specifically supposed to be for nosema treatment. So,
Apavita is who makes it.
Apavita. All right, I'll leave you guys with that. Thanks for all the kind words and well.
Do you know that's made in the Republic of Croatia?
Yes, it is. And I have word that in Canada we have the Croatian formula, and the USA has a different formula.
Really?
but that's what I was told. So you can research that if you want. But I will leave. I said I'm going to leave, so I'll leave now.
All right.
Nice to talk to you. Nice to see you, Alex. Nice to see you, Bob, and everybody on the chat.
All right, we'll see you later.
Have a great night.
Yeah, hope it's ready. I've got some. We've got some. I've got about, 40 bottles over here. I haven't sold that many, but I haven't put it up on Amazon or anything. So it is ready to ship for the people that watch the channel here.
I noticed you print your own shipping label. How does that work?
So I use, there's several different online companies you can use, but I use Pirate Ship, and I've got it linked to my website. So I basically import the information from my website to that, and I've got set up what the packages weigh and what the items weigh. So it calculates the shipping, and then I buy the shipping and send it to my printer, print out my sticky label, and stick it on my bag.
You pay online, and then you can print it out?
Yes. So so Amazon works a little bit differently. So with Amazon, they take the shipping money out of my money, right? Whatever that money is that was paid for, the shipping money comes out of that. If I do it on my website, it's basically three things, right? So I've got the shipping software, I've got the website, and then I've got the credit card processor. So when you buy something from my website, it goes to the credit card processor who holds that money, right? It's hostage. And then I have to ship the stuff out. And then a couple days later, the money from the credit card processor comes. So even though you've paid it, I've got to have the money in the bank to pay for the shipping while I'm waiting to be reimbursed from the website. So it's
when you get a lot of orders, it kind of gets
yeah, you see the bank account go, and then all of a sudden, bam, it gets replenished. So yeah, it's a thing. It's a whole thing, but
I haven't, like I said, I haven't sold a lot of honey. So I usually sell in person. So I haven't, I don't have this kind of setup at all. That's what I was asking.
Because I'm going to tell you what. So 1 pound of honey, right? In the in plastic is one thing. But when you start selling this and then you add the shipping on it, right? Because you're not going to pay the shipping. They're going to pay the shipping. So if I'm paying, if they would come here and get this for $10, well, now it's probably at least $15 by the time I add.
Yeah, shipping honey is expensive. I sent some to my grandmother, like 2 of those bottles.
Oh yeah,
this size, one of this honey and one of mine, and it cost me over $20.
Yeah, and so it to me, I don't mind. You know, I've got certain people in different areas of the country that I was in the military with and stuff, and they don't mind supporting me by ordering my honey and paying extra, right? So they don't. Oh, did it? Dennis, oh, you need to come in the stream. So that's awesome. So the stuff that we were using at the cutout, I forgot to tell y'all. So we were at this they all came down, right? James was here, Steve was here, Dennis came and he got some honey rustler. And I have a pre-mixed bottle that I use. And my pre-mixed bottle had got to the end, but I didn't have more. So I just added more water to it, right? So it was more diluted. So when I'm sitting there spraying the bees, it was kind of working, but not as pungent as it would have been because it was diluted. So I need to start keeping a bottle with me. So if you guys haven't seen this, I didn't want to make this a commercial, but the honey rustler concentrate. So like Honey Bee Gone, or Bigo or some of that's usually in like a 8 to 12 ounce bottle. And that's finished product. That's just, if you buy 8 ounces and pay $20, you just got 8 ounces worth of it. But mine is more expensive. face value more expensive. When you look for it at the store, it's going to say $29.99.
But it's concentrate.
It's a concentrate, right? So this makes a half a gallon, 64 ounces. So you're actually getting, if you were doing apples to apples, finished product to finished product, it would cost you about $175 for the same amount of Bigo. So that's the, and this is cheaper to ship than 64 ounces. So that's why I did it this way. So that's the story on that. Let me see.
And they lived happily ever after.
Yep. Steve, it rained all last week. And I've been busy this week. So this weekend, it's my goal to get to that house and do that cutout. I'm a little bit worried about that house because it's one of those houses on a historic register type of house.
Oh, boy.
Yeah. So, tearing it apart's not a problem. There's no rules on tearing stuff out. The rule is how they have to repair it when they go back to repair it.
My dad and uncle used to have a business repairing historical buildings. And you got to use, if you remove something, you got to source
the same material.
Accurate materials.
So if
it's a timber framed house, you got to buy a piece of timber, you got to mill it, you got to make the joinery, and you got to fit it.
Well, this house was built in 1882. It's an old plantation style house. Beautiful, beautiful place. Been totally redone on the inside. It sits on 68 acres. But on the back, you go up to a little porch to the back door, but then over that is a porch coming over top of it. So the overhang for the bottom entry is a porch on top, right? A small one, just a small porch. Well, the bees have decided to go into that porch. And so I could get them from the bottom of that porch, but I would have to stand on a ladder, or we can get them from the top of the porch. But if you don't seal that correctly, then you're going to have water when it rains going down into the wood, which obviously makes wood rot. So
conundrums.
Well, and I explained to him, this was even before the guys came, because I had been out there one time previous. And I told him, I said, look, I'm a bee removal guy. I'm not a construction guy. So I'll take the bees out, no problem. But when we cut this, like the homeowner or me, I'd prefer him actually running the saw. I'll pull the boards up. That way, if there's any miscuts or anything, he's aware of what happened. It's not my fault. And then once it's cut, I'll pry the boards up, take the bees out, and get them out of there. So
long as he has a bee suit, just in case there's a random bee coming up, he should be fine.
An extra suit for him or something. But hey, there's Philip. He's in the car, driving in a fast car. He's gonna go anywhere. Oh, sorry. What's up, Phil?
Yeah, doing.
We're just chilling.
I've been in a scout meeting, but a friend of mine called and said his neighbor has some bees hanging out underneath the patio table, so I'm going to go help him out with it.
Oh, nighttime beekeeping. That's what's up.
It's a 30-minute drive from my house, but I figured if he was brave enough, he's never messed with bees before, he was brave enough to try to take it on by himself, I should go help him.
Yeah. Just make sure you take the cooler with the cold beer when you go there. That's what it always gets done, because even though it's nighttime, it's probably still in the 80s there, right?
It is 81 on my car, what my truck says. But
what just happened to my...
Sent me a picture of it. It's a big swarm.
I don't know what just happened to my chat over here.
I don't know if you guys are still going to be on. I'm about 20 minutes away, but if you guys are still on, I'll show it to you.
Well, as long as we keep talking about bees, we'll be here. I can hang out that long.
Yeah, I got about a half hour left before I got to go to sleep.
I did see your message. I'm trying to figure out, you say it burnt, that knife burns your honey?
What's that?
That hot knife you said? You said if I took care of shipping, you'd send it to me.
Yeah, absolutely. I was going to say, yeah, it burns. It's too hot for me.
That's why the guys say they cut a frame and then they unplug it and then they plug it back in and cut more. And that seems like a little bit of a pain in the butt. So 27C, Alex. That's what Matt said.
If you guys can hear my stereo or whatever that is.
I've pulled at least 110 pounds of honey. I've still got some in there. I just haven't gotten a final count because I haven't bottled the rest of it. But so far, I do.
Yeah, I use a cold knife. I have a serrated cold knife.
I've tried all of those, and it just seems to tear the crap out of the comb.
I haven't had that problem. Maybe it's not sharp enough, or your comb's too cold. I don't know. I just because I've heard horror stories of hot knives burning the honey, so I decided I'll give the cold knife a try.
Well, you know, the steam blades that I use, I didn't have that problem of slicing right through the comb. That worked pretty well. But again, you got to have really fat comb. And if you don't, then you end up using an uncapping tool anyway. So it gets to the point to where I've only used it the first time that I did it last year. After that, I just took it off and set it to the side, and I ended up using the roller. But then when I use the roller, the problem is that I get all the wax bits in the extractor and it comes out, and then you go to strain it and
it clogs the strain.
Clogs it up. So what I'm probably going to end up doing is just buying a crap ton of paint filters and lining the 5-gallon pail with it. Just go ahead and let it all run in there, and then just lift it up and let the paint,
the honey drip. That's what I do. I use paint filters.
And
it's heavy when you lift it, and you can squeeze it out, but it makes a sticky mess.
Yeah, and the other thing that really I don't know, it bugs me. And when I say bugs me, as far as like I do it all by myself, right? Like a lot of you guys do. They don't have any help doing their extraction or their uncapping or any of that stuff. So you guys probably get the same thing. It's like you spend money and I got this uncapper and an uncapping tank and spend a crap ton of money on the extractor and all that stuff. And then it's like you think, okay, now I'm in good shape. It's all going to work perfect. And then you still end up, cutting, having to switch to a different method because the uncapper that you use, your comb's not thick enough. So now you're manually uncapping it anyway. So the streamline operation now just got thrown out the window, right? So when you're doing, I've used a bread knife, but I haven't had good luck with it. And it ends up getting all honey. I get honey everywhere and everything else. So not that it doesn't work, but it's kind of like, if I was doing 20, 30 frames, okay, it's not that big of an inconvenience. But when you start doing 100 frames, 150 frames, something like that, now it's a time drain, right? So
yeah, so that's why I switch. Like I start my honey supers with 10, and as soon as they're like,
as soon as they're starting to fill up,
I remove one, add another super.
I did that last week. Yeah, that's what I was started to do.
It's much easier to uncap 9 frame.
Or like James says, 2,590 frames. Could you imagine having to hand uncap 2,600 frames?
I'm gonna be there someday, so I gotta start imagining soon.
Right, but I imagine in my mind that James is not imagining that. He's imagining how he's going to automate that to where he doesn't have to do that, right?
Yeah.
So I mean, he didn't do a very good job last year with his 13 frame extractor. I'm just saying, but
Richard Noel uncaps a bunch.
Yeah, I like
by
his
hand.
honey house is amazing.
Oh yeah, he just built it.
He's got an extraction line, but last
You're cutting out.
Going in and out, Philip. The let me see. That's the $1 million question. Are you looking for, Mike? Are you looking for frames with foundation, frames just by themselves, or if you're looking for frames just by themselves, you can get a 100-pack from Man Lake of the commercial grade wooden frames for $129. If you're looking for plastic frames, Pierco has a sale for $2.89 a frame right now. So just frames. Okay, so probably Man Lake. I mean, 129 for 100. Not assembled those. You have to put them together. But
just some glue and a brad nailer, problem solved, and a jig.
Thinking about sharpening my Harbor Freight machete. So,
hey guys, I need an uncapping tank because I have just a little plastic tub right now, and after about 4 boxes of honey, it's full of wax.
You sound like me. Well, I mean, I got a Lyson. Mine's heated, but it's not water jacketed. So,
no, I was talking about an uncapping.
The uncapping tank.
Yeah,
I'm thinking bottle tank for some reason. So I also have a Lyson uncapping tank. So I kind of went that whole route. Now I know that Hilco has some. I'm not sure what the price is on Hilco.
Everything I'm seeing that's metal.
Better Be has a couple different ones. They've got the one that I've got that's 1,500 millimeters, so 1.5 meters, and they've got a 1,000 millimeter for 1 meter. Let me see. I'm trying to find it on here. They got a hobby uncapping tank. It's $383, Lyson brand at Better Be.
Is that a plastic one?
No, metal.
Better Be. Does Better Be have free shipping after you spend a certain amount?
No. Nope. That is a drawback.
Because Better Be actually has a plastic one that's like less than $100. I couldn't believe it. Everybody else is $200 for the plastic one.
Lyson's got the manual steam uncapper.
Yeah, I saw that. It's got a crank on the side of it.
With the tank for $3,500.
Yeah, that's what you need, Bob.
I'd be cranking them through there. But
No,
hey, I'd rather do that to uncap frames than to do that to extract honey. So
uncapper. Okay, I thought you were speaking of extractor.
But it's steam heated blades like what I've got. Curious.
Like the V-shaped one? Is that what you're talking about? The V-shaped blade that uncaps?
Oh, I've got that already.
Yeah.
This is what I'm talking about. Let me share the screen.
I like the looks of that Lyson that has the uncapping tank and the extractor all built into one unit. That's pretty cool.
$35,000. You can own one.
3,500, you mean, right?
That's for this. This is the uncapping and the tank.
Their other one is just a little stand. You still have to use a knife. Yeah, hand knife.
Yeah, so I've got basically this same tank without the casters on it. And I don't have this. I've got the tabletop uncapper.
I'm upgrading from the bread knife to the offset serrated knife. That's my big upgrade.
But here's that other one, Philip.
Yeah.
$383 right there.
Yeah, that might be the direction I need to go, because at least
It's got the little
the $200.
I have the plastic equivalent of that.
The shipping on that dang thing's going to be though.
Well, I think it was $300 for my extractor. So that doesn't look like it's. Let's see. It says comes unassembled. Where's the shipping? Oh, it ships FedEx ground. So it says significantly reducing the cost to ship.
So when you say assembled, I mean you want it to be like a welded bin. You don't want to have to. You don't want
no, it's a welded bin, but the legs you have to put the legs on it. And it looks like it's just got the wooden stick deal with the.
Yeah, I'll run the trap file tomorrow and see what the shipping is, but I got a feeling the shipping is going to be $100 and something.
So this is the 1,000 tank right there. I've got the one that's half again as big as this one.
If it'll hold 20 or 30 frames, I'm happy with that.
This one holds up to 28 frames without support, it says. But the one that I have will hold up to 40 frames if I don't have the uncapper on it. If I have the uncapper on it, it doesn't hold that many.
Right.
So, yeah, Hilco's, I was looking at theirs when I was looking at the, let's see, Hilco uncapping. I do like Hilco's website, I'm not going to lie. So their tank is got a single, looks like a single in it. Forecast wheels. It says the 40-inch one holds 27 frames and the 30-inch holds 18 frames. So it's a little bit smaller than the Lyson one, except for the little small one I showed you at first, right? But the longer ones, and that's $700 for that one.
Hey, Bob, I'm going to jump off of here and get my directions straight, and then I'll get back on when I get there.
All right, cool.
All right.
All right, man.
Thanks.
See you later.
So yeah, 3,500. Alex, should I buy it?
Do you need it? That's the question. Do you actually need it? And can you sell your old one to cut off some of the costs?
But will it fix my problem? That's the question. I don't.
That's what I meant by do you need it?
I don't know that it would fix my problem.
Well, find out, then decide.
But man, that would be nice though. Just keep spinning, but then you got to stop spinning and drop in more frames, and spin some more, and then drop some more frames and spin some more. But I think it does manually push them out of the way.
I have seen a small electric uncapper, chain uncapper. It's the width of an uncapping tank, say like 20-inch wide by maybe 10-inch, no, 20-inch wide but 10-inch long, or reverse that. And you just like drop the frame in it. It starts spinning, and the chains just rip out the.
Yeah, but someone and it was somebody on the chat.
It's about the same price as that tank. I don't remember what it's called. I saw this in a video somewhere.
Somebody said that that those chain uncappers tear the crap out of the comb, though.
If they spin fast enough and at the right distance, they should only remove the cappings. And you can control those.
The depth?
Yeah, the depth. Because if you got a fat frame, and those things just will tear them out all the way.
To put into perspective how much that extracting line costs, that the Lyson, like that all-in-one setup, costs more than my Ford Bronco did.
Yeah, it's like here I saw one at like 70 grand. Well, yeah. I know it's 70 grand Canadian, maybe 3 cents USD.
Dude, you'd be better to drive, since you're so close to the US. you'd be better to come to the U.S. in a rental truck, go to Better Bee, pick it up so you're not paying the freight, pay the U.S. dollar amount, and then carry it back. I don't know if they would charge you over based on the value. The
duties are going to be killer.
But that would be
because when you cross with stuff like that, you got to show I bought this, and they send you a bill for the for crossing over. I don't know how much. I would have to research.
Give me 30 seconds. I'm gonna go to the restroom real quick, and I'll be right back. Gotta let the monster out.
Boy. Well, I don't know what to do. I've never been left alone in a stream with nobody else. Bob's the talker. I'm not. So please forgive me if I'm quiet.
Wetting myself.
No, Lyra Morfar, I haven't found a trailer because I just can't afford one. It's like puppet show, Alex. No, I don't have the money to buy one, even if I found a trailer. Yay! Thank you, Daisy's honey.
So that uncapper that I've got costs $435 new.
To answer
Purco too.
Michael Bucks, right now I have 12 left out of 15, and I'm planning to go up to 30, 35 for the summer since I have a second apiary now. And thank you, James.
If Philip's still watching, that Purco has that licensed uncapping tank, and that's in California, might be cheaper shipping to get it out of California as compared to New York, and it's $8.99 over there for the same uncapping tank that I have. And they have their extract. They have the 20 frame extractor for $13.49 over there.
But I would have, like what you said about before you went to the restroom, it might still be worth getting an extracting line from the US, even with the duty, the import duties. I'd have to check what's the like the fees for crossing the lines
and bringing it back.
Yeah, I'd have to calculate the exchange rate and the fees for bringing it back, and it might still be worth it. So that's a good idea, because the only place that's nearby that sells them, like the full extraction line, like 70 grand for the smaller ones, and 120 plus for like the really large ones.
They've got, matter of fact, Purco has a Speed King uncapping knife with a adjustable temperature on it for $189. Says, here's Brian. Look at this. Now the star's here. I can go.
Oh, you should have heard everything Alex was saying about you when you were gone, man. He was not shut up.
But you got to consider the source on that.
I was kind of like not freaking out, but I'm not a talker. I'm extremely introverted. I am not used to speak.
Were you silent the whole time I was gone, or did you do like Charlie?
Well,
he saw me get up and go pee, so he got up
tried.
to get a drink and leave it dead air.
It was a pathetic attempt, but I tried.
How you guys doing tonight?
Doing good.
Good.
Keith, do you plan to stay at 30 hives? So if you got 30 hives, if you're just doing one box a piece, that's 300 frames. That's 10 cycles in a 30 frame extractor. Or how many would that be if you had a 12 frame extractor? 30, well, less than 30, right? So 200 or 28 cycles. So
Yeah, I
if you
think
can
30.
afford the bigger one, in
Yeah,
my opinion, go big.
Yeah, if you can
I
get
would
a
say-
31, get it. Especially with
I would
30
add
hives.
though, as long as you can get it through a door, right? You need
Yeah, that was the
Hey.
main criteria. I would have gotten the 40 frame one, but it doesn't fit through a normal apartment door. So
Well, you saw when you asked me didn't you ask me when you went to buy yours? Did it fit in the door?
Yeah.
Because
Yeah,
I
I
was
did.
like, mine didn't fit in my door. I had to take the door frame out and get it in that way. So it did get in though. It's in there. I don't know
mine,
if it's ever going to get out.
if I lift both lids, it fits like with a quarter of an inch.
And so yeah, that was a thing for sure, trying to get it in. They don't have the whole line over on Pierco. I was trying to see if they had it cheaper over there.
But 30 frames extractors, I think, can service like even a medium size operation, like 100 plus. I'm sure hives.
Well, it just depends on how you're going to do it. Because for me, I want to get it done as quick as I can, right? Because I'm a one-man show. So if I can do 3 boxes at a time, I want to do 3 boxes at a time.
Since I want a lot more hives, I want to go up to 200, maybe between 200 and 300 to be like fully sustainable in case there's some losses. I figured like buy once, cry once. So I went for the biggest I could fit through a door. That's my reasoning. Future proofing is the way to go.
Yeah, the other thing is that I would recommend, if you have a smaller extractor, don't give it away like I did. Because there might be that time to where you only have a box that you need to pull and not 3 boxes, right? And then the smaller one is much easier to just load it up and run it and not have to worry about cleaning the big extractor. Right? You can just pull that little one.
Don't get tangential though. Radial.
Yeah, radial.
Oh God. Even a 2-frame radial is better than a 2-frame tangent. It's those little things are horrible. I hate them. God, twice the time for the same amount of frames.
Mine fits 30 deep frames. Now, if you look, and I'll say this as a caveat, if you look on the website, it'll say 24 deeps, but I will tell you for a fact, I've had 30 deep frames in mine.
The Lyson 30?
In the Lyson, yeah. And it could be because I'm using plastic sometimes, I don't know. I'm just saying that I got 30 frames in mine. And it works. I like it for several reasons. One reason is the motor's on the bottom and it's belt driven. So if the belt breaks, I can just go down to AutoZone and replace the belt. So that's a good thing.
Having the motor out of the way is also a very, very big bonus.
And the only thing I don't like about it is the
control
fact
panel in the back
where they put the damn control panel. It doesn't make any sense to me. But who am I?
You're Bob.
I'm Bob. They didn't consult me when they went to design.
Hey guys.
Hey. You got bees?
This is my brand new beekeeper, Sean.
All right.
Hey, Sean.
Want to get that swarm?
We're going to do this live, huh?
Yeah. Why not?
There's only 42 people watching, so don't be shy.
You guys brought a red light so they don't get all crazy?
Yeah. Well, I couldn't find my red light. I've got a green light.
My son has a red light. I've got a red light headlamp.
Yeah, you should go get that red one. Bees cannot see red lights, so it will prevent them from flying.
So Bob's in South Carolina. Brian's in Seattle, right, Brian?
No,
Colorado, Phil.
That's right.
Now it says in Quebec.
Alex, where are you? In Canada somewhere, right?
Quebec.
All right, so this is that's not the picture. So this is what they currently look like right now. Where's your camera?
Easy peasy, man. Just put the box right on there. They're going to walk right in. Pull the chair back, put the box right in the chair. It'll probably walk right in it.
You just pick up the table, give it a bump, and they'll all fall right down.
All right.
Make Sean the flashlight, though. Make Sean hold the flashlight.
I'm gonna make Sean.
On my head? Are you kidding me?
I'm gonna make Sean. I'm gonna film and I'm gonna make him handle all the bee work.
He needs a 10,000 lumen LED flashlight.
That's more entertaining for you guys if Sean has to do all the work.
White light.
Hello.
Hey.
Yeah. Sean.
Yeah.
Where's your headlight? I don't know. Where's his headlight?
Yeah. James says no. Use white light in light.
Oh gosh.
This is like,
You want to anger some bees? Use white light.
Oh man, I've got my jacket, but I'm not gonna wear it unless they get after it.
You don't know if those are Africanized bees or not, right? At this point.
I have no idea what they are. I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt until they prove otherwise.
Famous last words.
That's a big swarm, though.
Well, it's not a live stream unless somebody gets stung.
Oh, is that the box she gave you?
Yeah.
I think we're going to use my box, and I'll just give it. She can just give it back to me.
well, I thought you were taking him to, what's his name?
I'm taking him to. No, I want to take him to Kate. I couldn't get a hold of him. I was going to give these to Stark, but I couldn't get a hold of him. Let's see what she gave us. Yeah, we'll put those frames in my box, and then I'll add to them. I made these frames for her a long time ago.
Hey, don't start doing it yet. I'm going to grab a drink.
Okay.
I got to get popcorn and a drink.
Let the show begin.
I'll have my gear nearby. Where is it? Across this way?
It's the next door neighbor. We got to go behind this.
All right. Well, I'll go grab my bucket and my.
Oh, you go get your stuff. You need Red light.
Yeah. Red light. Good idea. Very good idea.
All right, I'm back. I just got a drink. I didn't get the popcorn. Charlie's not here.
So who's gonna get the bees, Phil or you?
Oh, me. He's gonna make me do it. He's gonna video me.
Hey, it's gonna be a success. You got the Flow Hive hat on,
and it's an easy catch. It's gonna be like.
Yeah. Do you guys know Kate Schroeder?
I don't.
No.
I don't know exactly what the relationship is between. I mean, I know they're friends, but I don't know what they do bee wise. But let me see if I can get it pulled up. She gave me this, but it's a size large, and I'm a XX, so that ain't happening.
Yeah, well, hey, it'll be fun. Long sleeves, duct tape, whatever you got.
Yeah, there's how many people? There's like 42 people.
Share that one.
Then you won't have any problems because they're in their nighttime state and they're in a swarm mode, so you'll probably just be able to pop them right in.
With that red light, and they're like an easy catch right on their table. It should be a very easy swarm retrieval.
Alex, you are looking about $200 Canadian to import equipment with a value of $700 to $800. But we're talking like 35 grand import. We're all anxiously waiting.
Phil's got to go get his EpiPen out of the truck.
Phil, that's in his kit there. His EpiPen.
His EpiPen.
I do have an EpiPen. What's your site called, Bob? Walker Bee Ranch at Walker Bee Ranch on YouTube. Go to
YouTube. For YouTube?
Yeah.
My wife wants to watch us from afar.
Hey, as soon as y'all get out there, I'm gonna make y'all big so everybody can see it.
What do you say?
It's Walker Bee Ranch.
Walker Bee Ranch.
Yep, just like my name underneath me right there.
Like Google it or like YouTube it.
YouTube. Go to YouTube and do Walker Bee Ranch, and it'll take you straight to it. And then there's
it's live streaming.
Yeah,
it is.
Yep.
Okay.
Y'all been out here for almost 3 hours.
Yeah, that's nothing. You should see one of our no-life beekeeper chats.
That didn't see it earlier. There is the swarm.
Y'all got this. This will take 5 minutes.
We gotta go.
Yeah, the family next door has.
We're going this way. We're going up front. We're going up front. Hello, I'm Andrea.
Hey, Andrea. Everybody say hi to Andrea in the comments.
Hello.
And if you haven't smashed the thumbs up button, do that too. Hey, Paul said the female is the smarter sex, so you probably need to let her do it.
That seemed to be one. All right.
Okay.
Are you on? Oh, you're going to come.
Yeah. No, watch this. Bailey, you're not coming.
You got the Q-beam spotlights and everything ready to go?
Spotlights? I don't know about spotlights, but I got
Bob, you are cool.
He's got a red headlight.
I've got my phone.
I got my phone.
Yeah, put a blank, a red image, like Photoshop or paint a red light, and just turn on your screen that way.
It's on YouTube.
Oh, yes. There's Joey. Hey, Joseph.
Much bigger than a grave.
Hey, Joseph.
Kelly, Paul, there's Philip.
Hey, I had to watch this.
And then we have, I don't know how many people online, but we have a lot of people online that are going to watch this. What's up, Paul?
We're going to make it big so we can see as soon as you show us the bees there.
You know, I've got something. All right, one of you guys has to be the camera guy. I'll hold it.
Oh, this is going to be fine.
That's what they're doing.
Hey, Bob.
Yeah. I think this is the best video reception we've gotten off of one of your videos in a while.
Well, we're still in the Metroplex. I'm not out at the farm. Hey, is there a way to flip the camera on this thing?
Yeah, you should be able to tap the screen. It should give you a flip around little.
If I hit the camera, it turns off.
Oh, wait, you got to go to your maybe the settings and then go to camera. It should give you like front facing, rear facing.
Camera. There it is. Front, facing back.
Well, we're looking at you right now, so there it goes. Now switched around.
Is that right?
Yep.
Yep.
Yep, that's it. Cool. Andrew, I'll let you do it.
Oh, that's.
Y'all see that okay?
Just reach down there and grab a handful of them and throw them in the box.
Get out of here.
I bet you Philip would do it. Philip, put your hand in there and grab a bee and show them how easy it is.
Pointing a white light at them, you might want to.
Yeah, there's plenty of bright light.
Okay.
Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.
Don't worry about it. Okay. Okay.
Basically the same frame.
Is this a good angle? Can y'all see?
Perfect.
Perfect.
It's a big swarm.
I moved the chair. Come around here.
Yes, sir.
That's about 3 pounds of bees, I think.
Right here.
Give me a minute.
Say, Joey.
Right here. It's wrapped around the arm. I can't really pull the chair.
At least 3.
We're gonna disturb.
Look at that. Look at him. He's got the white light going and everything.
Can y'all see okay?
Yes, ma'am. The box is in the way right now, but yeah, there you go.
Okay.
Pull that chair out nice and slow.
See, I would probably take a frame out and put it under there and let them walk on the frame and then dump.
I'd pull the chair out nice and slow and then just bump the table and have them all fall right in.
So guys, I'm thinking I may move this chair all the way out and let them go to the ground because this chair has these holes in it. And when they fall, I think they're going to hit the ground anyway.
You're probably right.
So I think that's what we're going to do.
I'd move the chair too. Nice and slow. See?
You guys see them, a different looking bee.
That's it. Now look at all the space you got.
And the queen's probably on the arm with my luck. This is
remove one of the frame if you can. Give more space.
Bump them in the box and put the lid right on.
You want them to fall in front of the box and a little bit in the box, never behind it.
I'd put them all right in the box.
Yeah, this way. Just make sure we don't get any behind the box. We can get it there, be good. All right, I'm gonna pick the table up and drop it.
That's all right. Bump it.
So I'm gonna sleep with it or no?
And who's got the lid?
Where is the lid?
Hold on a second. I'm gonna let the lady. I'm gonna put on the.
Yeah, I don't know who's holding the white light, but they might want to dim that white light there.
Okay.
Is that me?
That's you.
Okay.
Because when they start flying, they might fly right to that light. And
That's your white lights. Yeah, can you go? I would turn that light off. Okay. Oh my God.
Oh, now we can't see the phone.
now we can't see the bees as good, but
Okay.
there we go.
I'll hold the light so they'll come after me if anything. Okay.
All right.
You all ready?
Am I swapping it all?
We're just. No, you don't have to do anything.
You sure?
I'm going to pick this up and drop it, and they're going to drop straight down. Okay. I'll tell you what. Hold on a second. I'm going to put a drop of. Let's just lie a little bit and say I'm going to put a drop of swarm rustler in there.
Good idea.
It's probably lemongrass. That looks. He's unscrewing the top. That's lemongrass. You cheater.
All right.
Oh, that'll make him go to it.
Now watch the ball, the queen. I'm just kidding.
All right. Ready? Everybody ready?
Yep.
Don't hold it. Let it go.
That's it.
Close it. Close it.
Put the lid on.
Close it. Come around here. Yeah, I didn't do a very good drop, guys. Sorry.
If the queen's inside, they'll walk in. Close it.
I might have to turn this light off in a second. One of them bumped me a little bit.
You just woke them all up.
I just got stung on the back. I'm right on my back right there. You see him? Here, show this to them. All right, I'm getting stung.
Okay. Where's my flashlight?
Right here. See.
All right. Well, yeah.
No, but
No.
one through my face. Yep. Oh, yeah, got one in my face. All right.
Shut y'all door.
Are they walking?
I'm gonna turn the light off for a second. Hold on, let me give you.
I assume she's in there, otherwise they would have moved.
Every time I turn the light on, they come at me.
He's got the red light on his hat.
Yeah, hey, come around here with the red light. Yeah, just shine it down on there. We're gonna get the red light on for you guys. I don't know if that'll help.
Yeah, it does.
A little bit.
Looks like they're walking on the box.
Yeah. Oh, is that Joey? Hey, Joey.
Are they walking in?
Joey's in Louisiana. All right, we got a bunch. I've got to figure out how to get these from the side.
I'll check to see if the queen's over there.
Yeah. Well, they settled down. They're not coming at me anymore.
Yeah, they're.
He says as he gets zapped on the nose.
It looks like
The
they're
lid
marching.
on, but I'd put the lid on, but leave it cracked, and then just step back and let them do it all. They know what to do. Just let them do it.
Sean, you want to do the lid or you want to hold the camera?
No, I'll do it.
All right, grab the lid.
I push the ones on the outside in.
No, I just I wish I had my smoker lit. We'd smoke them a little bit, but just you're going to set it down super gently. If you set it down, but you don't want to put it all the way on. You want to leave a crack on it, like near the front.
We say crack like that.
Like this far. Like this far.
Okay.
Okay, and just set it down real gently, super gently. Just let it lean like that.
Perfect.
That'll make them. Yep, that'll make them feel like they've got a little protection there.
And they can still get in from the side too, a little bit right there. So
It kind of looks like they're marching in. So I think the queen's inside.
see, you could probably turn the house light on now. You could probably be fine.
I'm getting lit up. Sorry about that. I'm gonna put on this veil. Hold the camera.
They're lighting you up.
Yeah, there. I only got hit like twice.
Heck, I get hit twice walking through my yard. That's a successful swarm catch there.
All right.
Now go get a beer and come back in 20 minutes.
Yeah, they should all be inside by then.
I wanna just move this a little bit because I'm not exactly sure they're getting in here from this side. So, yeah, they are. I think. Okay. They're climbing up. I hope they're climbing up in the wrong spot, but it's closed in the back a little bit.
I bet you the queen's hanging out on that side over there.
You want me to see it here? Hold it.
I think I'm gonna have to move.
We can move the table.
I'm gonna have to do that.
Here, let's move the table.
That's a good point. They're on the leg of the table pretty good.
Still? Yeah. I don't get rid of that.
The speaker removal I did this last week. I found her. I grabbed her. I put her in the box, and she went right in there, and they just followed her right in for the most part.
Yeah, she might be.
We can't see nothing. We see one white light. Might be the moon.
I'm gonna give you some more light. I got my veil on now.
There you go.
Are they looking like they're marching in? I can't see that. Well,
yeah, they're going in.
Stop, Sean. Hold on, Sean. Now I'm getting stung again. Where my phone is lit up, lighting up my hand.
You see him running across the pavement over to the pile over there from the table.
Yeah.
Yeah, my guess is you leave them alone, they'll all get in.
Hey, you know what might work is just setting that flashlight over on the ground on the side of the box. That flashlight that was out there a minute ago.
Like that.
Yeah. Then if they come to the light, they're not coming to you.
Good idea, Bob.
That's why I get paid the big bucks, sir.
Kind of glance and see if I see a queen. See a drone.
What does the queen look like?
She's longer than the rest of them.
The video kind of froze, didn't it?
Yeah.
Did it?
Yeah, the video's froze, but we can still hear you.
Hold on a second. Is that better?
Yep.
Yes, sir. Perfect. Yeah, it looks like they're moving up to that cluster up there now on the box lid. So that's a good sign. They're probably just waiting on her to decide to walk in there if she's in that cluster and then follow her right in.
Can't find out where the...
It froze again.
Is that it?
There it goes.
There you go. Yeah, you just need time. Go get a beer.
All right, they're marching now. I see them starting to move up from the bottom to the top.
All right. Let's be done about all this entertaining.
Hey, we appreciate it. You know, we're bee nerds from way back. We watch it all night long. You can literally set your phone there and walk away, and we'd probably still be sitting there watching the screen. Look, there she is.
Trying to figure out how to get back to seeing on my phone what I'm showing you guys because I've gotten off the screen somehow or another. So now I'm trying.
Hit the 3 lines, and it'll be one of the apps that's open. You just click it; it should bring you back.
Oh, I got that, but when I go to that, it's like it's asking me for a new tab and a whole bunch of almost looks like advertisements or something.
Well, no offense, but the bees look better than you do anyway, so we're good.
Hold on. So What's your name, buddy?
Paul.
Hey guys, this is the homeowner.
That's me, y'all.
I'm not going to shine a light. I don't know if you can
We
see.
can't see him. Yeah, you shine a light at him. Get him zapped.
Look at my red light.
He already got stung in the face.
Yeah.
It looks a lot better now.
Yeah.
Where'd you get hit?
On the cheek. Either he's got a big chaw in his cheek, or he got.
Oh, I got one. Yeah, I got one right here, but it got stung right here.
I couldn't tell which side of the face was swollen with that.
Even now.
That knot of red man or whatever you got in there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hurst, whatever.
Hurst.
So you guys tell them where you're from through there. They're on the screen. Bob.
I'm from South Carolina.
Oh wow.
And Alex is from Quebec, Canada. And then we got Brian
I'm from Colorado.
Colorado, and Joey over here is from Louisiana. And we got 43 other people from all over the United States and Canada watching.
Enjoyed the evening.
Well, hey, it is the evening now. We got to see somebody get stung.
Yeah.
Live stream.
His kids appreciate all of you guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Enjoy their backyard tomorrow.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
Only 4.
And we got California, a couple people from South Carolina. We got Michigan. I'm not sure where Ziggy's at. Louisiana. I'm not sure where Matt's at. Let me see. Who else we got? We got them from all over the United States. New York. Oh, we got New Zealand. We got Kyle from New Zealand's watching right now.
All right.
And I wonder if my wife's on there still.
Yeah. Jeez, they're probably on the phone on the thing watching.
Yeah, it's all. It's over now. The fat lady singing. They're going in. So, good job. That's one of the most fun things I like to do. Take them in the box and watch them walk.
It's like a miniature army marching in.
I know, but what?
That's something that popped up on the app, like a bunch of ads.
We got Maryland, Alabama, Ottawa. So Ziggy's in Ottawa.
Yes.
We got Wyoming, Canada, Ohio, New York, all over the place. Got to see you get stung.
Beautiful bee footage.
That beautiful bee footage right there.
So did we
You wonder what's going through their mind like now. They're like, Christ, it's too late for this. What are y'all doing to us?
how many people are on this call? New Zealand, Canada.
You're internationally famous now.
This is Mama.
Yeah.
Welcome to our backyard.
It's the queen bee right here.
They know I'm a bee lover. I'm a gardener, so they knew I would save them and get them to the right people.
Good thing.
All right.
And next year they'll be dropping honey in your box there, Philip.
Yeah. Well, I'm giving these to my friend Kate.
She has had as many as 5 hives or 5 colonies at one time.
She's got.
She said they're down to 3 right now.
Yeah,
Oh wow.
she's only got 3, and I've got 40. So I'm gonna give them to her.
So how many bees would you say?
Right here. Okay. Did you guys hear that question? She asked how many.
About 3 pounds. So it's probably what? 3 pounds is how many bees? 30,000? Or is it less?
That's crazy.
I think it's around 10 or 15. But
10 or 15.
That's just my. I don't know. There's no.
I don't know the bee math on. They say a cup of bees is 300 bees, right?
It was about as big, somewhere between a volleyball and a basketball.
That's good 5-frame nuke.
Yeah, got it in a 6-frame box. So
get you a couple of frames in there tomorrow, and they'll be good to go. 10,000, Michael says. So, the homeowner's got to count them all tomorrow and let us know who wins.
Either somebody's hive around here or a tree.
That's why I was saying wherever that piece of wherever this right here. Earlier from over there, I was like, that looks like the hive. I think it just fell out of the
So each pound of bee weighs has about 4,000 bees. So that's roughly, if it's 3 pounds of bees, then you have 12,000 ish.
Around 12,000 bees. Yeah.
We got a consensus, man.
We're Googling.
Chat GPT.
Chat GPT.
No, I just used Google.
Let's see. Yeah, they look good, man.
You know, he's gonna put a bag around it here. Yeah, I have a big.
Do you have a bag?
Yeah.
No, they want a trash bag. They'll kill them. It's got to be screened or
screen.
Like a mesh bag.
A mesh bag. So I don't need that. I can stuff something in the entrance. This box has pretty good ventilation for this little short trip.
Duct tape and some screen.
It's got a vent hole at the top. It's also got one in the very bottom. I forgot to. I was going to bring a screen to shove in the entrance, but I forgot it.
Who was it that uses I think it's Black Mountain Honey uses like just a piece of foam and just stuffs it in there.
Yeah, I might have some. I can probably dig around in my bee bag and find some foam.
There's group over here on the side. We don't think there's a queen in there. Oh, we do.
You see any more clusters forming anywhere else?
Well, there's a pretty good cluster right at the rim there.
You don't see her though, do you?
I don't.
No, there's too many to. She'd be way up here.
See, this is when the impatient me, when I get to that point, I usually start scooping bees with my glove and dumping them in. Like, get in the box.
Well, I might pick the lid up and just move it back and pop it down and then move it back over.
I bet you got 2 inches of bees hanging from the inside lid.
You're probably right. But I don't want to be out here all night.
You're like me. I get the impatience very bad when it comes to those.
Well, you could just lift and smack the cover then.
I'm gonna let you take over.
And I have to go. It's 11:15 and I work tomorrow morning. So I wish you all good night.
All right, Alex.
Let me get stung again, Alex.
I'll watch the rerun tomorrow.
Of the box in the bottom.
Not everyone.
Let me show you the. Can you see the bottom?
Yeah, there's a little cluster in there. It's not that bad.
I'd go ahead and close it all the way up.
I'm gonna do this right here for a second. Can you show them that?
Yep. See if they'll go down in there like that.
Yeah, that might help. Get the last ones in there. I'm gonna hold the light. Maybe that pulls a few more in.
Yeah, they don't like that light, so they'll probably go under there. It does start to move them up, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Which one's the drone?
That big one right. There's one big one right there, you see?
Yep.
That's a drone.
And out of those 12,000.
There's a drone right there, see it?
Yep. How many of them are females again? Like 99%?
Yeah, all but the big fat ones. So see how these are a little white spot right there?
Yep.
That's the Nazanoff gland. They're letting the rest, all the ones on the outside know this is where the queen is. She's in the box somewhere. They're fanning. That's what that's called, fanning. See that little white? That's the Nazanoff gland, that white speck.
Alex said goodnight, Alex. Or Paul said goodnight, Alex, but playing video games isn't work. He's a video game tester, so. So that's funny. Yep, that's what Mark says. Use your hand and rake them in the box and close it up. Done.
Yep. Let me.
I've got gloves.
I'm gonna put.
If you've got better gloves.
I'm not gonna do like Yappy and stick my fingers in there.
Not at night. Of course, you do have a glove on, so it's not that.
No, that's what I meant. I'm not gonna stick my bare finger in there. I don't know if that's helping.
Looks like they're just grabbing on your glove.
Yeah, they're just climbing on my glove. And it's a leather glove too, so they're stinging it. Look at the stingers in it. See that? All the stingers?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, that's not helping. All that alarm pheromone just irritates them. I can put my rubber glove on and do that maybe.
There's not many bees left on the outside.
And they were riding my truck anyway.
Matt said the flashlight was working better.
Okay.
Hey, I never thought about doing that, using the flashlight to make them go to the darkness. Then you got those wanderer bees on the ground like, what the hell? Where are we going?
One right there in my hand.
Oh yeah, you got that. That's done deal right there.
Yep.
That's a done deal.
And yes, I gotta put the other frames in there. I think I'm gonna do that now. Here you go. Start flying at your hand. Put it down. Put it aside.
You got an old piece of comb, or you just using foundation?
I got one old piece of foam in there. Got some pollen, maybe a little bit of honey. I don't know.
Oh, we got the rookie on the box. Here we go.
No, that Sean's holding the light.
Oh, okay. That's your hands we're seeing then. Okay. That's a good little swarm, man. So that's a 6-framer?
Yeah, Sean was lighting my hand to give him a good target.
Come back tomorrow, it'll all be drawn out.
Yeah. These bees are actually, I mean, a few flew at us, but I don't think they're too bad, really.
Well, I mean, it is night, so you would expect it.
I really don't want to push these bees when I put this lid on here.
Just bang them down in there.
Yeah, I might, but that's going to create a little bit of a mess. I really wish I'd lit my smoker. I could smoke around the edges and make them run in there.
Ay.
Got stung.
He's still on me. Ay.
Now there's comic relief.
Ay.
First thing. I got the EpiPen over here.
No, I'll be okay.
All right. See if I can get the light on here. Show you guys.
Yeah.
There we go. You got the camera on?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. There we go. See if I can do this without making too big of a mess.
Ay. Yeah. Oh, that was good.
Perfect.
Right there.
You've done this before.
Get down in there. I really should have let the smoker. Had them in there by now.
Is that like a migratory cover, or does it sit right on their flush?
It's a telescoping cover.
Okay.
inside the porch lights.
Look like it climbing back on your lid.
Yeah, I'm just trying to get them kind of off the edge so I don't squish so many when I set the lid back on there. It's working pretty good. Well, it's starting to aggravate them a little bit. Thanks.
There you go.
Oh, you can set that here if you want. Sean, when you do this, you can set this down soft enough.
There you go.
Larimore says, Hale, you want to see the wreck, but you don't want anyone to get hurt. It's kind of what we are, a bunch of rubberneckers right now.
Set it down real soft and kind of get a lot of them to run back down. All right.
All right, now it's just a box, boys.
All right. Well, we'll minimize you now.
All right. Very good. Hope
There
you guys
you go.
enjoy.
Good job, man.
Perfect.
It's always fun.
Glad I didn't embarrass myself in front of the community.
Hey, I would have.
I don't know how to get the camera back, but I'm still trying to figure it out. Settings. Yeah.
It would have been fun either way for us on our end.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, it would have been better if they'd have really jumped all over me, especially before I had my jacket on.
Yep. Keith Larimore says, thank you for the entertainment tonight, Philip. The first 3 hours were boring, but when you came on for the last 15 minutes, you really fired it up.
I came in here earlier today to watch Philip's video. I just got to watch him.
Another one. No, Bob gets credit for this one. He gets all the views, everything.
Yeah.
Oh, well,
the other one now.
We've only been going for 3 hours and 18 minutes. No big deal. And in the replay, if it makes you feel any better, nobody watches it to 3 hours and 18 minutes. So you could actually cut it out and save it to your channel there as a whole video, and it'd be brand new.
Yeah.
All right. So let's see here. Now let's go back.
We can see you now. There you
Yeah.
go.
Oh, darn. Hey, I never was wearing my veil. Now I'm getting stung again.
you were wearing shorts and a t-shirt and nothing else the whole time.
I was going full on Brad Hogg on that one.
Oh, that's good, man.
What an experience.
What a night. Thank you, fellas.
Good job.
Thank you.
Bye bye.
Nice meeting all of y'all. So you're taking them to another beekeeper's yard for them? Help growing them a colony?
Yep, and I'm down to 9% battery, so I'm probably going to have to get off here pretty quick.
All right, Philip. Well, we appreciate you, man. Thanks for stopping in.
All right.
Philip.
It was fun. Thanks, guys.
Have a good evening.
See you later. I'm going to
Well, that
go
was
too.
fun. You're leaving too? Joseph
Yeah,
popped
I
in for
gotta
the
go
swarm catch and leaving now.
Yeah.
How many swarms have you caught this year so far?
I've only got around 12, I think.
Only around 12.
Yeah.
Now, you saw where LaGrange was just here, and he's at 12.
Yeah.
It's like he grew to 12, and you caught 12 swarms. That's pretty good. But, your neck of the woods might be more normally.
Well, it's actually stopped. I think everything I caught in part of March and some of April. But
now, do you think that's kind of the cooler weather that we've kind of been having this year is playing into that? Or?
I think so. But I went into one of my big hives today, and they had a box on top of them that they could have went in, but they making swarm cells. I just closed it up and walked away.
Really?
I'm not fighting them. I just closed it up and walked away.
Let them do what they're going to do.
Yep. Don't look like we're gonna get any honey off any of them.
Really?
No.
The I saw some people were saying their tallow was starting down there. Your tallow's not
really, no.
Well, that's kind of what I was worried about, is that the milder weathers the blooms are kind of either kind of just staggering in, or they're just kind of overlapping, but it's not been that boom, that you're usually expecting or used to. So who knows what it's going to bring down here. And yeah, that's what Paul said. Joey, any flow up in your area? You're saying no, not really?
Not really. I've got a couple colonies that's bringing a little of something in. I don't know where they're getting it, but it just about the same time y'all started hearing Mike and Jeff talk about it. Nothing has gained in any of my yards, with the exception of maybe 2 colonies. They're just sitting there.
I've got some like that too. That's got boxes they just haven't moved. They refuse to move up into for whatever reason. So, Michael Buck says, "Are your frames pollen bound?"
No.
Do you have any pollen bound or nothing like that in your colonies?
I pulled early spring. I pulled some frames out where they had too many frames with pollen. I moved them out and saved them for later on others.
Paul
like
said
nukes when I made nukes and stuff.
His tallow is still in bud there. Thought it was going to be early, but now at least a week out to bloom. Where he's at. So, yeah, I think we're all having it. I think that my mimosas have just started. Some of them at the very top of the tree had started to bloom, but very small. So I don't know if, I'm the same way. I don't know what's going to happen. I mean, I've pulled some honey off, but it was colonies that I gave drawn comb to that were strong already, right? So they have a lot of workforce compared to some of the other ones. So we're gonna, pray about it and hope things turn up a little bit. But right now, it's not the situation. It looks pretty in the yard. Bunch of boxes on everything.
Yeah.
Just may not look pretty in the honey bottles. We'll see.
Yeah. So,
I just took the, you remember that Johnson's baby shampoo, right? That's what I just started filling all my bottles with. So, honey, I'm just selling them shampoo and honey bottles. And, Dennis says his mimosas are budding. So, and to be honest with you, I don't know if the bees even work the mimosa, but I know it's blooming. I'm hoping they do.
I don't know either. I saw some blooming the other day, but I'm not sure if they work that or not.
Peter says he's got a double deep that the whole bottom box is pollen frames. Yeah, I would probably start rearranging that box a little bit, or pulling some of those pollen frames out and dropping some comb in it if you got it, to give her some room to lay. Otherwise, you'll be catching them out of the trees for sure.
Yeah.
So, anyway, guys, we've been going 3 hours and 25 minutes. It's probably about that time tonight. And I'm surprised Charlie didn't show up. I knew Lee probably wasn't showing up, but I was expecting Charlie to show up. And who knows? He's been having some back issues, so he might have answered me back. Let me see. Spanky messaged me at 10:24. Let me see. I just said I'm still live, so.
Well, tell Spanky we said hi if we get a chance to talk to him. We all miss him coming on.
I'm texting him that right now. Whoops.
I'm gonna get on out of here. I'll see y'all next time.
All right, Joseph.
Me too. Good night, Joseph. Good night, Bob. Have a great night.
See you later.
All right, we'll see you later. Let me see. So I'm just finishing up this text, and guys, I appreciate all of you for hanging out here this duration and talking bees. It's been nice as usual, and Charlie should be live as far as I know this Friday, and stream team tomorrow night, and who knows what'll happen later in the week, but we might get on there later this week if time permits. But at any rate, we're going to finish it for tonight, and we will talk to you guys again next time. Thanks for watching. Y'all have a good evening. Good night.